Hello there, and welcome back.
What is this place?
Disconnected.
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 Disconnected. Disconnected.
Disconnected.
Disconnected. Disconnected.
Disconnected.
Disconnected.
Disconnected.
Disconnected.
I'm starting to feel disconnected.
You have reached a number that has been disconnected.
Hey y'all, and welcome to another Thursday with first-time guest on Reconnected One. I am so stoked to have here for the first time Mr. Austin Trunick. Austin, thanks for showing up.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I am so excited to be here. I'm excited to be here during this festive time of year.
Love the lights in the background. For those that don't recognize the name Austin Trunick, Austin is the main scholar behind Canon Films. This is the Canon Film Guide, Volume 1. This is a very large book, and yet, if that's not intimidating enough, Volume 2, which is, what, twice the length almost?
Yes.
So the bar that you've set for yourself, Volume 3 has to be, what, 800, 900 pages, something like that?
I'm working towards it. I am approaching it. We'll see when I get there, but boy, yeah, it's gonna be a beast. It'll be another doorstop.
Yeah, I am so stoked because these, like, other than the Stephen Thrower books, maybe some of the most exhaustive books on cinema from the last 20 years or so.
I love being in Stephen Thrower's company. That's awesome. Thank you.
Always esteemed company. Tell us about Canon. Like, how did you first get into Canon? For anybody that has never given the deep dive to Canon Films. And you're frozen, which means you can't tell us anything. Hopefully you're back quickly. At least you're smiling on my picture. Let's check in with some of the chat while we wait on Austin to come back. Oh, there he is. And you're back. You were frozen for a good 20 seconds.
Oh, my goodness. All right.
How did you first get into Canon Films, for those that have never given the deep dive to Canon?
Well, I grew up kind of out in the boonies in Ohio, and we didn't really have close access to a movie theater. So all of the movies I saw came through the video store, and Canon was king of the video store. You couldn't spin around with your arms out without knocking over a whole bunch of Canon movies off the shelves. So these are movies that I first saw with my dad renting them, and then when I was old enough, in middle school, renting ninja movies and things that probably shouldn't have been rented to a kid my age, but those are the video store days, and people were not very. The cool video stores were very lenient about that. You can get away with renting action movies, but yeah, these are the movies I grew up on, and as I grew up and I got into film criticism for a long time, I worked for various magazines. I edited a home video section of a magazine for a very long time. I ended up coming back to Canon. I returned to the movies that I grew up on. I'd spent many years writing about Criterion releases, and then again, it was fun just to go back to the Charles Bronson and ninja movies after all of that.
I totally get that. The amount of variety in Canon Films is always hard for certain people to pin down, but the great thing is they all, like, the moment you see that logo, the feeling changes when you're watching that film, unless if you've been around them for so long.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things. The Canon logo, it was never, I wouldn't call it a seal of quality, but it was always a seal of a good time. Even if the movie was not great, it was going to be entertaining, and really that's all a movie needs to be. That's the goal. I think, in my opinion, a movie just needs to entertain you.
Speaking of that, you have been here to assist with entertaining on some home video releases over this last year. You've written on some essays on Mac and Me and the Garbage Pail Kids and a couple others. The big one for me is Sergeant Kabukiman. What's that been like? Is this isn't your first year on physical media releases, right? I think you've done a couple before this year. And frozen.
Okay, sorry about that.
And now you're back.
What is going on? I am up in New England right now when we're having some slightly snowy, slushy weather. So I don't know if that's affecting my connection right now, but I'm really, hopefully that holds out a little better.
No big deal. We'll figure it out. Other releases. I think you were on a few before this year as well, right?
Yes. The big one, my debut really, was Invasion USA last year. And that one was one I had a blast working on, because I recorded a commentary as well as writing the booklet essay for it, and I got to lend a hand with the interviews and things like that. So it was one that I really got to be involved in a lot of ways, and I couldn't have asked for a better, more exciting. That's one of my favorite Canon movies. All-time favorites, and that you couldn't have asked for a better first release to be involved in. I have a revised version of what appeared in my book on the Umbrella Masters Universe release, which unfortunately I think is way out of print right now. Yeah, but that was one I was very proud to be involved in. And Navy SEALs last year. That was that was another one that had a very interesting production history behind it. Many different scripts. I think I read 5 different versions of the Navy SEAL script, and every one of them was an almost entirely different movie from the last. It was really fun to get to break down how one idea became another idea, becomes another idea, and became Navy SEALs, the version we all know, the big, huge, silly action blockbuster. But I've loved doing the essays, especially because it allows me to kind of get a little break from Canon stuff for a little while and explore other films that, of course, like these are all movies that grew up. They're the same era I grew up in, things I was exposed to many years ago. I've seen many times, and it's nice to write about them because my life has been just Canon stuff for a long time. So it's a nice break now and then when the DVD work comes along.
Is that frustrating for you living solely in Canon, or is that something you relish?
I mean, I couldn't ask for better subject matter. Like you mentioned, they've done so many different movies. They were so prolific, so many films in such a short amount of time and in so many different genres that really it never gets boring, even watching these movies many times. And in most of the cases, these were all films that were done with either too small a budget, too small a crunch of time, usually both. And so the stories behind the making of these films is usually as interesting, if not more interesting, than the movies themselves.
That makes sense. This is probably a silly question, and you've probably been asked this like 800 times, but out of all the Canon films that you have not had the chance to work on a physical release for, what is the one that you think would be the most interesting one for you to write about? Which means not necessarily your favorite, but maybe the one that, like, if you get asked to do a commentary, you're so excited because it's not one that you get a chance to talk about a lot.
Well, one that I keep putting this out there into the world because I know it's had a German release. I'd love to get a domestic one, but Over the Top is a movie that it'd be one of those commentaries where the film would end and I would just be talking over a black screen for another 3.5 hours. Because I could talk forever about that movie, but there's so many aspects, whether it's the actual arm wrestling competitions that Canon that used to promote the movie and how they traveled around the world. We have local celebrities, local news anchors in every city arm wrestling each other to promote this film, to just the history of that film. It started as a script. It was started as not a sequel, but a spiritual follow-up to The Farmer, the late 70s. And the early scripts for that movie are incredibly violent. And even all the scripts up until Stallone's final rewrite of the movie are super violent and crazy. You have Stallone like breaking Grandpa's arm in it and stuff. And I just love to go over the production history. And it's also a film that I am fascinated by the stories behind all the arm wrestlers. That's a rabbit hole I've gone down many times. Like, I could tell you these life stories of every person that, bends the arm with Stallone in that movie. So that is one that, while it's not my favorite one, they just let me at it because I could easily produce 20 hours of extra features without even like stopping to sleep. I would do it in a weekend. Just turn on a camera and let me go.
Well, when they put out the VSU next year, hopefully they call you up, because that would be incredible for Vinegar Syndrome.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, that'd be a perfect one for them to take on.
And you are not just about Canon, other stuff that you love. What other kind of movies are you into?
Oh my goodness, my taste's all over the place. That is a tough one. I mean, right now I'm all about the holiday movies. We'll talk right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love Czech cinema. I love my college thesis was on New German cinema, so Fassbinder and Wim Wenders,
Nice.
and so it's all over the place. I've not encountered many movies that I've disliked. That's the thing. I might not have been a good critic. I'm starting to realize that now. As historian, I feel like I'm suited, but as a critic, because I rarely found a movie I didn't enjoy in some way. I think I'm just a creature that can be put down in front of a flickering screen, and I'll find something to love about whatever's on. So my taste is all over the place.
I get that fully. But speaking of that, we both love physical media. So what have you been picking up recently?
Well, I've got a few things actually on hand, but we were just talking before the show started. The thing I'm most excited about, some overdue Canon 4K releases. These all just came from Kino in the last week or so, but I have Death Wish 3 and the Ninja Trilogy, and really here ranked in the order of my favorite two. I still love them all. Like I will watch these movies at the drop of a hat. And I've seen them 100 times, and I will watch them right. Anyone asks me, any moment.
It is a big deal for Canon Films right now this month, because Kino, putting that much into the Ninja Trilogy is probably not something a lot of people saw coming as one of the first releases from Canon 4K. But they supposedly look great. I don't have a copy yet. I cannot wait to see them. Sam Furstenberg, friend of the show, I love his directing on those. He is one of the most kind, just individuals ever. Love seeing those. Anything else that you wanted to share?
Well, I'm sure, like a lot of people here, I spent a little more than I expected at the Criterion sale last month. So it's stuff I'm going to be working through those probably for as my holiday break comes up, getting to watch. I picked up the 4K of Barry Lyndon. I've been dragged my feet on that for a little while. Eyes Wide Shut. I was lucky to get it before, like, I guess they're drying up everywhere for a little while until they get the next wave of stock in there. Some other odds and ends that I've been meaning to grab. So those are things that really currently on the top of my watch list. I have the new Sunset Boulevard. As I was telling you right before the show started, that a lot of what I've been doing now is just upgrading so many things to 4K. A lot of things I've seen you post about that. I've seen a deal here and a deal there, and it's like, do I need to upgrade from the Blu-ray?
Right.
Yes, I do. For the little bit discount off, yes, I absolutely need to. So I've got a lot to watch this holiday season. Once the 26th rolls around and I'm putting my stack of holiday movies back in the drawer, I've got a pile of stuff from mostly the various sales that we had, a few weeks ago.
Funny enough, you talk about having a pile of stuff. I guess I don't usually theme these, but theme for this week for pickups seems to be a lot of stuff to watch, because they're not. I guess they are kind of box sets in a way, but I'll share. Not seeing a lot of people talk about the brand new Tom and Jerry, the Golden Era from Warner Archive. This thing is just incredible. Got a nice booklet with it, lots and lots. I think there are. What is the total amount here? It is they don't have it listed easy, of course, but there's like a ton of minutes. It's like hours and hours and hours of Tom and Jerry, which is just incredible. And then recent sale, the Kino Lorber sale, which is still live. I had been waiting on two of their collections to go on sale, and I think both of these were on sale for the first time. So we've got the Made in New Jersey films from Fort Lee set. I've been wanting this since the day they announced this. This is stuff all the way from 1909 to 2015, and I just love an eclectic mix like that. So that's great. And then some older stuff as well from Kino. These are all from 1920 all the way up through 1940. And this was one of the ones I've been really waiting for, and that is the Oscar Michaud Complete Collection. And what they do on these Library of Congress releases, where they work together on them, they always have a booklet. And of course, I just knocked a disc out, but they've got a booklet. And this thing, let me fix this disc, has 1, 2, 3, 5 different discs in this collection, and the amount of time that they are covering on these are incredible. And I don't really see many other boutiques putting this much into stuff from 1920. You know, you get like Flickr Alley will put out a solid, really great disc. But Kino's like, hold on, we'll put out 5, no big deal. And this was on sale. This was like $50 for a ton of cinema. It's great. And speaking of silent cinema, here is the 2551 trilogy from Def Crocodile, giant box set. This is a 4-disc set, 3 films, a disc just for special features. The artwork on this going all the way around the box. I love this art. And these are just incredible films, really subversive. Not sure if people have seen these films yet because they're just arriving in people's hands now, but they are weird, off the wall, like strobe light filled experimental cinema, and they cover everything from Charlie Chaplin homages all the way to like simulated sex acts, and it's crazy. Everybody needs to check these out. They are truly incredible. Love this release, and I hope you like it. That's what I've got. Recent watches, other than the Ninja trilogy, what have you been checking out recently?
Well, I've got some things I've been working on for the Canon book. So there are movies that I've been watching in rotation just to work on that. There are some odds and ends that I've been catching up on. Your disc, the one you just showed there, reminded me of it, but it's the Masters of Canadian Animation. I'm trying to remember the title from Canadian International. It was a while back, but it was just a fun one to throw on because it was just such a variety of different animators and different styles. And I love that it has a play all function. That's something that I that I love a lot of these compilation discs, and I feel like not every label thinks to add that. And it's just such a lovely option to sit and I want to watch 3 hours of this in a row, or if it's just something I can play a few times and walk in and out and catch things. I love, but that's one that I watched not too long ago, and this is on the total other end of what we were just talking about. But I just finally watched the new Superman with my kids, which was fun, and it was also nice. A gorgeous, cool, very cool disc with very great sound separation and well done. So it's just, there's some odds and ends. I also, for Thanksgiving, I had my regular annual watch now of RRR.
Nice.
So that that started last Thanksgiving, and it just seems like Thanksgiving is just this smorgasbord of all this different food, and it's too much, but it's all the right amount that you need. And RRR is the movie version of that, I feel. Just the most gluttonously enjoyable movie, and it's long, it's big, so that was a very recent, very enjoyable watch, but also a rewatch many times.
Have you seen from the same director Bahubali, the other films that he did right before RRR? So this must have been like 6 weeks ago now. They re-released Bahubali as a complete epic, which it was 2 films, and they took them both and put them together, which if you took the full runtime of both would have been 5.5 hours, I think. And because it's him as a director, they cut out like an hour and 13 minutes of it to make an epic of the 2. And I just saw it in theaters, and it's incredible. It's very like, if you love RRR, you would love it. Truly.
Oh, I'll check that out. That sounds great. So my wife enjoys RR as much as I do. So
are you staying up to date on modern stuff at all like that?
Not as much. So that was something that by the time my second kid was born, I was working on the second book, and we left New York City. I'm up in northern Connecticut, so I am not able to get to movie theaters as much. I'm not as nearly as isolated as I was where I was growing up in Ohio, but where I am, I can go down to Hartford or go up to Northampton, where there's a lot of college. It's like a college town, and there's a lot of cinemas there. But it's really kind of tricky. So to get out to see something brand new, it requires a big production, which I am sad I don't get, because again, when I was living in New York, I could go to Film Forum, I could go to Angelica, and this was like, you could see 2, 3, 4 movies in a row. One of the best birthdays I ever remember having, I skipped work and I went and watched 4 Douglas Sirk movies. at Film Forum, one after another, all ones that I'd never
Nice.
seen before. It's just great just to be sitting in one theater, getting so much selection, and I miss that. I really miss that. That's the one drag about leaving the city. I love space. I love the fresh air, but no movies, no movie theaters nearby, and no instant access to pizza.
That and low key, one of the worst parts of having young kids. Much more
Yes.
difficult to leave home.
Yes. Yeah, my children are 10 and 7 now, so they've gotten over. They're still young kids, but my older child is now getting to the age where she's interested in more movies, and we're watching things together, and I'm having a lot of fun there. There have been a lot of movies that I was like, I saw a bunch of times many years ago, and then kind of grew tired of, and it's great to finally revisit some of these classics with her.
My kids are 9 and 10, and being able to have at least one of the two right now be truly in love with movies has been absolutely great.
So what have you been watching with them?
Lots, actually. We started around October on the whole, we think you're almost old enough for some of like the PG-13 horror.
Mhm.
And so we showed them things like Crawl from 2019.
Okay.
And they seem to really like that. We showed them Paranormal Activity, and my oldest loved it so much that he came home from school the next day and put it on again. I was like, all right,
Wow.
I guess. We showed them Halloween, had to cover the eyes during a couple scenes, but that was fun. And then let's see, what was another one of the big ones? Well, for Christmas, I guess we just showed them Scrooged for the first time. The youngest could not possibly care less. I think before the end of the first act, he was already out of the room and attention on something else. The oldest was there, but he was like, yeah, it was okay. And honestly, I kind of feel the same. Scrooge has never been top of my list for Christmas stuff, but hey.
That's fun that you mentioned the horror movies, because I'm always struggling because I don't know what's going to scare the kids, what they're going to enjoy. There's things that movies that, again, like I grew up watching more violent movies at a younger age than
Same.
So it's hard for me that skews what I think is appropriate for them. Cause like, I was watching at that age, I shouldn't have been. But so I think something like Poltergeist. Poltergeist was a movie that I hadn't seen in a while. I was like, you know what? I remember that being not quite, being scary, but not as horrifying as other stuff I saw. I don't remember as being as scared of it compared to other things. But then my daughter loved it. My younger one was not ready. We had to stop the movie, calm him down.
The face melting scene is pretty terrifying.
Yeah, the whole ending, which totally escaped my mind with skeletons popping. Oh my gosh! Like, no, what was I thinking? What was I thinking? But my older child, she loved it. She's a little braver. She's also 3 years more development. A lot happens between the ages 7 and 10.
It's true. The other one that just reminded me, Arachnophobia. We just showed them that one, and it's silly enough, but they were like, "This is obviously fake," and we can love like the way that they're acting, and they both walked away howling at a couple of the scenes from that movie. That was a good one.
That's cool.
This last weekend, though, I got to see a ton in the theater. This year has been really high for theater watches for me. It's the first year where I felt like I could ask my mom to watch the kids often. And so I've seen a lot, but this weekend I saw 6 in the theater.
Wow.
Yeah. But the only one I really want to talk about is Hamnet. Obviously this movie is getting a ton of praise right now from pretty much everybody, but it is certainly not going to be a for everyone watch. I truly liked this movie for most of it, and then after the first 2/3, where I was just liking it, the final act kicked in, and I was there for it. It's one of those movies where like I'm willing to bet that on a rewatch, it hits a lot harder. But I truly like just dwelling on it since then. I know that it's one of my favorites for the year. The acting is absolutely incredible. I was very, very happy with it. I obviously this weekend saw Kill Bill, The Whole Bloody Affair, like everybody and their mother that went to the theater this last weekend. Had a great time with it. Went there with my buddy KB. Glad he was there with me. It was a good time. I hope people get a chance to check it out. The rumor is that it might be coming on physical media next year, but with Tarantino, you never know. He changes his opinions like the wind.
I just bought the 4Ks of each one separately, maybe 3 months ago, so it's bound to come out in that form.
Perfect timing. We all
Yeah.
appreciate you, Austin.
No problem. No problem. I'm doing my part.
So after our discussion on announcements tonight, we're going to be talking about off the wall, off the beaten path Christmas Blu-ray recommendations or holiday Blu-ray recommendations. Lots of fun stuff. I've got a stack here that I think there's a couple at least that you won't have. But I'm hoping.
I'm hoping you want to take turns with those because I feel like we might have a little bit of overlap. So I'm trying to like stack them in the order that I want to talk about this one first.
All right. So after this, we're going to talk about 5 each, and then we'll probably have some honorable mentions. I purposely did not pick the really obvious ones. So, your Silent Night, Deadly Night. Yeah, most people love that. Watch that. I did not choose that. Hopefully you didn't. I did not want to put that on the stack. A lot of these I don't get a chance to talk about a lot. A couple of them, I don't know that I've ever talked about them on the show.
All right.
Eager to. But first, let's get into announcements. This week we got a fairly large number of announcements. We're going to talk about first. Deaf Crocodile had 2 titles that are coming with a brand new slipcover. These are standard editions that the deluxe editions had sold out. These are now available from the Deaf Crocodile site. It's just the standard edition with this brand new limited edition slipcover on the outside. There's only 300 of each slipcover. And they are cheaper right now if you get them with the slipcover while they just went up. So go check those out now. We got In the Moscow Slums and then The Tragedy of Man. Both of these truly great discs. Absolutely worth it. The Tragedy of Man is an animation epic, and In the Moscow Slums is a very modern film, but beautifully shot. Some really great colors. Check it out. Love both of those movies. Are you a Deaf Crocodile person? Have you checked out anything from them?
Yeah, I mean, I jumped on them as soon as I saw some of the Czech animation we were talking about with the Pied Piper was a great one. And yeah, I love that somebody is looking at some of these more eastern side of Europe releases because somebody needed to. So Deaf Crocodile is a label that I look forward to their announces, and there's so many that like, oh, I'm hoping. I spent probably an inappropriate amount of time many years ago, early 2000s, when I lived in Prague for a little while, stalking Jan Schwankmeyer. And I realize now it's stalking. I was a young person. I wasn't willing to admit it then, but just sort of heading to his gallery every chance I can get in hopes to catch him in there and to get to meet him. But that's somebody that's like, ooh, someday, oh, that'd be the perfect label. Yeah. But yeah, so again, like I love some of this Eastern Bloc animation, and they are the ones supplying it to us, which is fantastic because this stuff was a lot of the stuff they put out was rare in the DVD days, if unavailable at all, which is incredible.
Yeah, we got a whole 6-month slate of theirs to discuss at the end of the announcements. We will get deep into there for sure. And Craig from Deaf Crocodile is watching, and he says, "Believe me, we've asked. He's not interested."
Well, thank you for asking him. You guys are awesome.
At least you know they're on it and they're of like mind.
Yeah.
Next up, Blue Underground capitalized on the David Carradine Kill Bill popularity at the moment and said, let's announce our next 4K title, which is going to be Circle of Iron from 1978 from the mind of Bruce Lee. I got to imagine, as a Canon fan, you've liked some Blue Underground stuff over the years.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of my Fulci releases are still there. I haven't gone to the 4Ks yet. I've still got the Blu-rays sitting on my shelf. But yeah, Blue Underground, again, that's a label that they've been at it for a long time, and I've appreciated a lot of their releases.
Yeah, I just can't imagine people not loving Blue Underground. I mean, some of their 4Ks look absolutely incredible. So yeah, eager to see this. Carradine is iconic. I'm stoked for it, and especially because I don't have a Blu-ray either. That's the best thing. Next, we had heard about this title coming literally a little over a year and a half ago, I think. But now, coming on February 10th on 4K from Kino is Somewhere in Time. This is the Christopher Reeve and Jane Seymour film. This has a brand new HDR Dolby Vision Master from a 4K scan of the negative. It's got a new commentary from Tim Lucas on here. We got a new commentary by Julie Kurgo and Peter Henkoff. There's a archival commentary on here as well, and then there is a bunch of archival extras on the Blu-ray disc. This is a very similar story to, speaking of Deaf Crocodile, the film Sirius that they put out on Blu-ray this year, which is incredible. So if you guys are into Somewhere in Time, or if you're if you like Sirius and you've not seen this, these are probably a safe buy. Have you seen Somewhere in Time?
I have. Christopher Reeve and Canon have a very close history together for a few years. This makes me, I enjoy Somewhere in Time, but it makes me really long for a nice release of Street Smart.
Yes.
Somebody, like somewhere along the lines, it seems like a perfect Fun City release. But yeah, Christopher Reeve, again, like great actor, Shakespearean trained actor, and you know who knows what kind of acting career he would have had not Superman kind of, I think, pushed him towards that, and people only would associate him with that. So it's fun to see the movies where he did get to do something that wasn't cape and tights.
Agreed. Fully agreed there. More Kino 4K. On February 10th, we are getting a 4K of Dead Again from 1991. This is the Kenneth Branagh film that a lot of people love. I believe this also came out from imprint, so some people might have the Blu-ray there, because I think that was the first Blu-ray. There are some archival commentaries on here, but that's it. Nothing new as far as extras. Are you a Branagh guy at all?
I can't say I'm familiar with this one. I do see Hannah Shagola on there, who I love. I was talking about Fassbender being one of my favorite filmmakers earlier, and I know she's in everything there's. And then for her from the Delta Force again, she's somebody who just popped up, and her later career is very interesting. But yeah, I've not seen this, but I'll watch anything with her in it.
Yeah, I've not seen this one either. I've heard this is really great, especially for people that love Kenneth Branagh, but not the Shakespeare stuff. And I'm sure this is quite good. I've always loved the poster for this, even though I've never seen the movie. I love the poster design here. Next up, we got a 4K Steelbook coming of Five Nights at Freddy's 2 from this year. This is in theaters right now. They're also putting out a standard 4K, a Blu-ray, and a DVD. No word on extras or release date yet, but let me guess, this is not one that you were clamoring to see, sir.
So I have a kid. My older child, being 10, is very interested in YouTube videos that have one of the video games that they're playing and people talking over it. So that is all I really know about the Five Nights at Freddy's. Is it's my children watching other people play it as, you know, very loud people talk over top of it. So I don't know. I'm probably a little would be tainted if these movies are good. I think that might spoil them a little bit for me, just because my children I'm enjoying watching movies with them, but their favorite forms of entertainment aren't necessarily stuff that appeals to me. Playthrough videos. And
so I saw this in the theater this weekend. I did see the first one with my kids. This movie was hot garbage. This is easily like bottom 10 or 12 of the year for me. I think this had some of the worst dialogue I've heard maybe ever. I would not be surprised if we found out years from now that this was literally like the dialogue, at least possibly written by AI, like that level of bad. Things said that don't sound human in any way, spoken by humans, not like characters. So yes, I did not like this movie. If you love this movie, I'm sorry. I could not stand this movie. This movie felt like it was 4 hours long.
ooh.
Next up, though, Lionsgate Limited this week announced a 4K Steelbook coming on January 13th of Eli Roth's Cabin Fever. Erica Schultz's least favorite director, Eli Roth. I actually really like this movie quite a bit. It's going to have Dolby Vision on this. We've got the Steelbook that it's coming in, and then the brand new extras. There's a piece called Scratching the Surface, a look back, and then there's Establishing Shot with Eli Roth, and then all kinds of archival extras. Are you into Cabin Fever?
I have not seen Cabin Fever probably since it came out. How long are we?
This
How long
was
has it been
2002. Yeah, 2002.
Okay, so I would have been in New York. Yeah, that would have been. So yeah, it's been a
23
long time. Wow. So yeah, no, I need to jump on. I always forget about Lionsgate Limited, and they do have some cool releases. By the time I think of it, I know that It Follows is probably sold out. I know that they have cool.
They've only had a few that have sold out. Nothing crazy.
Oh, okay. Okay. I might have to remember to jump on there because again, when stuff is limited or available through only limited spaces, it's easy for me to forget about it.
Yeah, their Dogma release is currently sold out, but that got a standard 4K everywhere, so that's not super crazy. And then the other one, I happened to jump on it when it first came out, is The Descent. This one is currently sold out too. But other than that, like a couple of their first releases are impossible to buy at the moment, but pretty much everything else is in stock. So if you're trying to get free shipping, it's $100 for free shipping.
All
and
right.
with
Well,
their prices, that's like 3 titles.
Yeah, I have the Third Man on my wish list as well, so I'm probably pretty close to free shipping already with It Follows
true.
and the Thin Man or the Third Man.
Well, if you want a weird one to maybe throw in, they are also on that same day putting out a Blu-ray of Mystery Team from 2009. This is the Derek comedy film starring Donald Glover, who is Childish Gambino. This movie has been nearly impossible to find on DVD even, was never released on Blu-ray. This is the first Blu-ray release, and I adore this movie. I am so stoked that this is getting a Blu-ray release. It is coming out with a brand new 2025 Q&A with the filmmakers and the cast. The only thing that I will say here, this makes 0 sense as a Vestron video release. This has nothing to do with the era of Vestron video. It was not released by Vestron. It did not come out when people even saw Vestron titles anywhere. This makes no sense. That being said, the movie's amazing. I don't care what line it's on. I'm just glad that I'll have a great release for it.
Yeah, that's a cool cover.
Yeah.
I went to NYU and the Donald Glover, DC Pearson, they were all NYU kids. So that's another one that many years ago now since I've seen it, but that's awesome that it's getting that's a very cool looking release.
And you can get it for $25, and yet the DVD just 2 weeks ago was like $110.
Wow.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah. Oof.
Yeah, again, makes no sense as a Vestron video title. Honestly, a couple of them have not. The fact that they did May was kind of pushing it. Hider in the House came back. That one made sense for Vestron. This, not so much. It doesn't all have to be horror. Comedy makes sense too, but...
I mean, it looks like a Vestron style like cover art though too. So
does.
at least they went there. That's gotta give them a lot of credit for that. It's a good cover
I would agree there. All right. Next from Welgo USA, 2025's Frontier Crucible is getting a 4K and a Blu-ray release from Welgo on February 17th. This is from the producer of Bone Tomahawk and starring Armie Hammer, actual cannibal Armie Hammer. So I think there's a lot of people that are going to be not very happy about the Armie Hammer thing, but also the producer of Bone Tomahawk. So this probably isn't for everybody, but... it looks kind of okay. It looks kind of cheaply made, but William H. Macy, Thomas Jane, I don't know. I kind of want to see it.
This flew totally past me. This is the first I've ever heard of this movie. So
this is the first most watching this I've ever heard of this too.
Yeah.
Let's see what is next. We are getting Dexter Resurrection, the complete first season on February 17th on Blu-ray and DVD from Paramount. I've never been a Dexter guy. Are you into Dexter?
I have not seen Dexter. No.
Me neither at all. Barry the Tick is making the joke. He says, wait, he fantasized about eating people, but he never did. My actual cannibal joke, that was a Shia LaBeouf reference, by the way, from a song. That was the whole point. See, Colton knows what I'm talking about. I was not saying Armie Hammer actually eats people. That was anyways. Bad attempt at humor. Also from Paramount, on March 3rd, they're putting out a 4K steelbook of Star Trek Strange New World Season 3. And if you don't want a steelbook, you got to get a Blu-ray or a DVD. They are not putting out a standard 4K. I have not been one to ever keep up with Star Trek. Are you a Trekker?
I've watched some of it over the years. I a lot of times I have a hard time getting into a huge, long storied franchise. It's
this
very
is intimidating.
It is. Like I watched Doctor Who, but I've not seen anything other than a few episodes here and there before the relaunch because it scares me how much there is. And I'm weak, I guess. I'll admit I'm weak, but I get easily frightened.
I can't imagine starting Star Trek in 2025 and saying, I'm going to watch everything Star Trek.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen a lot of the original series back in the day, but
Same.
The Next Generation when it was on, but I can't say I remember much, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think Deep
movies,
Space
Wrath of
Nine
Khan.
was mine. Yeah, that's true. All right, next, January 20th, we're getting a 4K Blu-ray dual feature release, not dual feature, sorry, dual format release, and then a DVD release from Decal of Keeper from this year. Osgood Perkins' Keeper. He's going to have a commentary on there and a trailer and a teaser, but that is it on the disc. Osgood Perkins, have you checked out any of his work?
Well, what are his other ones? Right,
Blackcoat's
nothing.
Daughter, Long Legs, The Monkey.
Okay, Long Legs. Yes, I saw in Blackcoat's Daughter. That was Long Legs was wild. That was one of the ones that I wanted to see in theaters, and actually, as soon as it came available for rental for the like almost ticket price, I did it because see the kids hard. It's hard to get out, but
Yeah.
But yeah, that was one of the few movies that I watched like very, very close to its theatrical window when it was on available for rental. So yeah, I'll have to check this out because I love both Blackcoat's Daughter and I really enjoyed Long Legs.
I did not love this. I really loved Blackcoat's Daughter, and Long Legs are my two favorite from him. The Monkey I felt was a little bit off, and then this fell pretty completely flat for me. I thought it looked great, just incredible visuals. It just felt like I did not smoke enough to see the plot line that did not exist. I say as somebody who's never smoked anything in his life. Yeah, I just can't get into Keeper. I hope people like it. Josh is defending it. I'm sorry, Josh. Not for me. Let's keep going here. We are getting hunting season. Speaking of movies that a lot of people are going to avoid, January 20th, we're getting a Blu-ray from Goldwyn Films of hunting season starring Mel Gibson. It says a girl and her father living deep in the woods rescue a wounded young woman that washes up on the bank of the local river. Their lives are forever changed by a mysterious stranger and the ruthless drug lord who will stop at nothing to kill her once and for all. I don't love a lot of modern Mel Gibson. Some of his stuff has been okay. I'm a big Apocalypto fan. Anything Mel Gibson you love?
Oh, I on top of the giant stack of releases I bought through the Grove sale for this one was Lethal Weapon, the 4K release of that. So that's one I'm eager to watch, and I guess is seasonal now that I think about it.
It's true.
Yeah. So okay, I have an excuse. I have an excuse to move that to the top of the pile.
Shoot, you can talk about that tonight if I cover all your duplicates.
Oh, all right. I have plenty of backups.
February 3rd, we're getting a 4K from Universal of A Beautiful Mind from 2001. This is the Russell Crowe film. Kind of surprised they ported over, I believe, pretty much every special feature that's ever been out for this film. Nothing new, unfortunately, but you got Dolby Vision and HDR on the disc. Good looking release. It looks like pretty solid. And not to mention, it's fairly cheap. It's like $20 everywhere, which can't really complain. I agree with Craig. The amount of airbrushing on Russell Crowe is a little weird. Especially after just seeing him in Nuremberg this year. But yeah, this is a good movie, and at $20 for probably a really great looking 4K, it's not bad.
Yeah, I thought my glasses were just dirty looking at that cover of that there. No.
Why is it so blurry?
Yeah.
Not at all. You are seeing perfectly fine, and the designer is not. Warner Archive released a ton of announcements this week. Are you into Warner Archive?
I am. Sneak preview. I do have a Warner Archive release in my Christmas pile, but
Ooh.
I don't have this. I've had some of their other animation releases they've put out.
Obviously we talked about the whole HBO or not HBO necessarily, but Warner Brothers being purchased by Netflix and or Paramount at the moment, depending on how it shakes out. I'm not going to say, like other people on here will say, hey, go out to support. But I'm going to say, if you see Warner Archive stuff on sale or a title that you really want, the next year and a half is probably going to be a really great time to pick up Warner Archive titles because we don't know how long they're going to be around at this point. Right. So I would strongly suggest supporting what you feel like you want to support from Warner Archive and or Warner Brothers or whatever, because who knows if they're going to license anything out anymore, put anything out on disc, or put it all behind a streaming paywall.
And that was one now again, it's an odd website that does the Warner Archive sales, Zing or something.
Movie
It's,
Zing, yeah.
Movie Zing. It's once or twice a year, but it always gets me for a lot because I'll look and I'll be every time it's like I thought I had everything I wanted. No, I do not. Here's another,
there's
4,
17 discs. What the hell?
Usually, because you have to get them in quantities of 4 too. So I would be like, okay, now I'm buying another dozen discs here in this sale. So every time that comes up, yeah, Warner Archive has done some awesome stuff from being a major studio too, really grabbing some deep cuts.
Yeah.
Some of
I agree.
The Busby Berkeley movies that they've put out, which I've enjoyed having on Blu-ray, but it's like, oh gosh, I'm afraid we won't ever see a nicer release now than what they have of a few of those.
Yeah, that's true. That is sadly quite likely, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
especially because some of them have not sold super well, probably.
Right.
All right. I believe all of these are coming out on January 27th, and all of them are coming on Blu-ray. No 4K announcements. So we have the new Fred and Barney Show, the complete series. This is from 1979 and is a Flintstones. It is a Flintstones spinoff. And this was almost 20 years after the TV debut of the Flintstones. And this is going to have 1080p masters from 4K scans of the OCNs on all of these episodes. We got 2 discs on this release. It is 410 minutes worth of animation. We got subtitles, no extras on here. But again, 2 discs worth of lots of great animation. Definitely need this for sure. Next up from them is Mario Lanza's For the First Time. This is from 1959. This has a classic Bugs Bunny cartoon called Long-Haired Hare and the original trailer. This is from a 6K scan of the original Technorama negative. This is really great looking. Not seen this movie. Is this one that you've seen?
No, I haven't seen this one.
Me neither. Let's keep going then. Next is By the Light of the Silvery Moon. This is from 1953. This has classic WB cartoon on here from A to Z. We got classic WB comedy shorts. So you want a television set and so you want to learn to dance, plus the original trailer. This is a 4K scan of the original Technicolor negatives. I love how much they are putting into restoring and archiving all these great things.
Absolutely. The animation discs I was thinking of that are their Tex Avery releases. They're just these very hefty sets that, and again, they're not only the restorations were very good, but the extras, they have fun stuff with various like film reels, and a lot of the films like this one will have a comedy short, like an animated short before them. It's very, very cool. It's stuff that, again, like we would have seen, 20 years ago on DVD releases when extra features were new and exciting, but now only the boutiques do. But Warner Archive is one of the studios that still, for as long as they're going to keep doing it, doing these very thoughtful releases with stuff that they don't need to put on there, but we appreciate that they do. That's just an extra mile. It's a little bit of extra love.
And I mean, who else is going to access like a 6K scan of the original Technorama negatives of any of these? That is nigh impossible for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. All right, next one up is from 1946, The Verdict with Peter Lorre. This one is says Superintendent Grodman of Scotland Yard built an airtight case into a noose around a killer's neck. Then, too late, evidence exonerates the hanged man. Grodman retires in shame. Then a new case, a diabolical locked room murder, gives Grodman the chance to redeem himself. Sidney Greenstreet and Peter Lorre, whose charismatic screen teamings began with The Maltese Falcon and continued through many beloved films during the 40s, play Grodman and his effete artist comrade hunting for clues in the fog-bound gaslit streets of 1890 London. I need to see this. This has 2 classic Warner Brothers cartoons, Hair-Raising Hare and Birth of a Notion. It's got some radio programs with Peter Lorre, and then it's got one with Greenstreet on there as well. And then this is a 4K scan of the OCN. Great sounding disc.
Awesome.
Yabba dabba don't on that animation. I will note that, Gary. Thanks. Next up is Manpower. This is a huge cast here. Edward G. Robinson, Marlena Dietrich, George Raft, 1941's Manpower. This one has a classic Warner Brothers cartoon, Snow Time for Comedy, and then Joe Glow the Firefly. This, again, 4K scan of the original nitrate negative. Can't really argue with that, especially with Dietrich in it.
It's going to be gorgeous.
Yep, absolutely. And
Just,
still not...
I was going to say, like Warner Archive, you could just go to their website, and if you have any need for Technicolor musicals, you're not going to find more in one place than
That's true.
Than through the Warner Archive.
That's true, especially with that good of restoration.
Right.
Next, one of the bigger ones that I know a lot of people are going to be after, 1952's The Narrow Margin, coming on the same day. This one is a 4K scan of the OCN as well. We got an audio commentary by William Friedkin. This is not a new commentary, obviously. That was a joke. Including audio interview excerpts by Richard Fleischer. We got a classic short subject, So You Never Tell a Lie, and then a classic cartoon called The Super Snooper. Yeah, this sounds great. You got Charles McGraw, Marie Windsor, and Jacqueline White. It says, pack your bags for one of movie history's greatest trips, a nifty film noir thriller that Time Magazine deemed worthy of being bracketed in the select group of train thrillers headed by Alfred Hitchcock's The Lady Vanishes. On that note, I must own this.
Yeah.
And then Red Dust from 1932 is the next one. This one with Clark Gable and Jean Harlow. This has 2 MGM Technicolor shorts called Over the Counter and Wild People. An audio-only Gulf Screen Guild Theater broadcast with Clark and Ann Southern. And then the original 1932 text theatrical trailer, including alternate scenes from the final feature. That's a really cool feature. And then this is from a 4K scan of best preservation elements on this one. So not quite the OCN, but as best as they can do.
All these sound wonderful.
Yeah. Vinny is saying that the Warner Archive titles are on sale right now on Moviezing, 30% off if you get 3 of their movies.
Oh, that's awesome. There goes my budget.
Which means... If I'm doing the math right, I think that puts most of them around $17.50. So not quite as cheap as the 4 for $49 that they normally do. And honestly, they normally do one of those around Black Friday, and they didn't this year. I wonder if that's coming up, maybe. There was a lot of sales this year at the same time. Maybe they just quietly bowed out.
Yeah, I could see it might be advantageous to hold it a few weeks before, or maybe a few weeks after. I don't know.
That's it for Warner Archive. It sounds like a really solid slate. I think it was 7 releases. Kind of crazy. January 27th, big release day for them. Next, March 10th, we're getting a Blu-ray release from Visual Vengeance of The Paranormal from 1998. Have you checked out anything from Visual Vengeance?
I don't know. I have not. I can't say, unfortunately, no.
This is a label that focuses a lot of like shot on video or shot on digital video releases that they go over the top and overload with extras. This looks like another one of those films. It's going to be a region free. There's a new director supervised transfer from the original tape elements. We get a commentary with the director Todd Norris, commentary with Todd Norris and the composer. There's new cast and crew interviews. There is an interview with Todd Sheets and Todd Norris. Some TV bumpers, blooper reel, all kinds of stuff, multiple short films. And then if you buy the limited edition, you get all of this extra paper goodies, of course, a folded mini poster, reversible sleeve. You get a stick your own VHS sticker sheet, limited slipcover with original art by Uncle Frank. You get the Ghost Finder viewer that they're putting in here. And then the limited promo flyer, Z is for zombie movies. There is a lot coming with this one. Brendan says this movie has 3 views on Letterboxd right now. In other words, pre-order now and you might be able to be view number 5. If that one doesn't tickle your fancy, don't worry. On March 10th, they are also releasing Colony Mutation on Blu-ray. This is from 1995, and it says a scientist doses her husband. That is a different type of X-rated film. A scientist doses her husband with an experimental serum which causes his body parts to separate from his torso and take on lives of their own. I guess I kind of was describing a XXX movie. Anyways, this one is region-free, has a new director-supervised 2K transfer and restoration from the Super 8 film elements. We've got multiple commentaries on here, lots of interviews, alternate original 1998 VHS version, the 2013 DVD version, There are lots of other Visual Vengeance trailers on here. And then again, stick your own VHS stickers, reversible sleeve, folded poster, a booklet with notes by Tony Strauss, and then a slipcover with art by Justin Coons. Colony Mutation looks very interesting. Yes, Stan, the Tom Berna, I believe. Stop motion heavy Super 8mm film. Check it out. Of course, I clicked away accidentally. So the next one is coming soon on Blu-ray from Kino Lorber, and that is Death of a Gunfighter from 1969 with Richard Widmark and Lena Horne. Are you a Western guy?
Not as big as some people have, but I mean, again, like the classics. Not too long ago, I watched the Kino Lorber Shane. That was a pickup from a recent sale. They're 4K, and it's a gorgeous one. Speaking of Warner restorations, The Searchers was a beautiful, beautiful. So I love revisionist westerns. I love the psychological westerns. There's a lot of the stuff before that in the canon, not the two ends, but the canonical westerns. I have some big gaps that I am kind of weigh on me. I'm kind of ashamed of. There's a few in there. But the classics I love. High Noon is still one of my favorite films of all time. Jeremiah Johnson's one that I believe that's the Warner Archive sale. I think that's one I'll have to pull up my Google Doc and see where I need to grab from where. But this is not one that I have seen yet.
I've not seen it either. I'm kind of the same as you. I've got lots of missing major titles that I need to check out. This one, the big thing that gets me is it's directed by Don Siegel as Alan Smithy. I believe, if I remember right, this is like the first Alan Smithy directed film.
Oh, wow.
So as part of film history,
Alan Smithy went on to be very prolific.
Yeah, it's silly film history, but hey, if you want to be a part of it, this is one to support. More Kino Lorber. February 17th, they are releasing the film Ray on 4K, the 2004 Jamie Foxx film Ray. I love this movie. This one has a new commentary by Dwayne Epstein on here, and we also have all kinds of archival extras on here. Have you seen Ray?
I did see Ray. I am afraid to revisit a lot of these, and I've missed some of the newer biopics. I didn't see the Freddie Mercury one, or I did see the Dylan one that came out recently, but Walk Hard has ruined most musical, like biographical music films for me.
Agreed.
And I know that this one, I won't be able to give it a fair shot. And I believe Walk Hard's was released, was announced very recently, or rumored or something soon. But yeah, it ruined musical biopics for me.
I agree fully. Walk Hard is literally one of my favorite movies of all time. I think it's a masterpiece. I believe it is rumored because it was on the I think it was Sony. I think it's a Sony film. Okay. They did a survey for films that people want on 4K, and it was one of the listed ones. And I think it was last year they put out a survey, and like everything on there has been announced for 4K. So everybody's just saying, well, everything on here is probably going to come to 4K. So Walk Hard possibly coming. But the big thing, I don't know if you saw this news. John C. Reilly announced that next year in 2026 they are doing a Walk Hard live concert tour.
Oh my gosh. All right. New York or Boston. I gotta see where I can get tickets.
I heard that and I said, no matter where it's playing, I must go to one of these performances.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, I think it was on Steve-O's podcast where he said it live, and I immediately was like, no freaking way. I have to be there.
That's so cool.
All right, next, February 24th, Kino is releasing a box set of sorts of the Peter Sellers early classics that they have announced recently as getting standalone releases. So if you pre-ordered some of those, this is probably going to feel like a little bit of a slap in the face. But it's kind of nice because now you can cancel those or pick them all up in one fell swoop. In this, you've got Man in a Cocked Hat, I'm All Right, Heavens Above, Two-Way Stretch, and The Wrong Arm of the Law. All of these are getting standalone releases. So if you are wanting 3 or 4 of them, this is easily going to be the most cost-effective way to get them. So check it out. Peter Sellers, incredible. Are you a Peter Sellers guy?
I am. The Pink Panther movies are one that I'm eager to, with my kids, to show to them. And it's probably one that there's going to be racier moments that I have forgotten about that I'm going to have some regrets, but I think they're going to love.
it's always better off to apologize rather than withhold the film from them. So
Yeah.
good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. I can't wait for those Pink Panther 4Ks they announced. It's going to be great.
Mm-hmm.
Another one that's not super safe to show the kids. February 24th, there is a 3D Blu-ray releasing of The Stewardesses from 1969. This is coming from Kino Lorber as part of their Kino cult line. This has a new audio commentary with David Del Valle and Miles Hunter. It's also got all kinds of archival extras. This is going to be able to be seen in both stereoscopic and anaglyph formats on the 3D. I don't think I own a copy of this movie, so I will probably have to pick this up. Have you seen The Stewardesses?
I have not, and I'm actually pretty eager to check this one out because Kino, they did such a good job. I never thought we'd get a 3D release of Treasure of the Four Crowns. That I would be able to, and it was amazing. They did such a fantastic job. So I was a 3D skeptic. I never had a 3D television or anything, but then that release is like, okay, I need to stay on top of these because they're just so much fun. So I'll be all over this.
Everything that they have touched with the 3D film archive, it ends up just looking aces. They are so great looking.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be on my radar.
Nice. Next up, speaking of Doctor Who a few moments ago, March 16th, over in the UK, there's a Blu-ray set coming from the BBC of Doctor Who, the collection season 21 from 1984. This is going to include a bunch of the seven of the stories from that time, and it is going to have all kinds of extras on here. These box sets, they go all out. Obviously, the Doctor Who fans are loving these. It's a 10-disc set, hours of special features, lots of good stuff. I'm sure you've not seen this year then from the sound of it.
I haven't. And I don't know if anybody has any advice on how to get into the pre-relaunch Doctor Who. I'm happy to hear it because I don't know if I should work backwards or if there's a definitive place to start. I know you can't start all the way from the beginning because a lot of those are lost, but yeah, if there's any advice, I'm open to hearing it because I'm very curious. I would love to see the earlier stuff, but I'm intimidated by the amount of it.
There is so much. And if you just start to like research how much there is, even that is just too much to find out already. It's crazy. Anyways, I think on the older stuff, they're almost close to being caught up on getting everything out on Blu-ray. So there's probably not a lot of these releases left. So if you're catching up to these, the light at the end of the tunnel is near. Next up, February 17th, Raro Video here in the US is putting out Plot of Fear from 1976. This is done through Kino Lorber distribution. And if you're recognizing this title and this font and this art style and all that, that's because this was just recently released in the UK by Indicator. And I will just happily say you should probably get that release if you want this movie, because this is wholly as in WHOLLY, wholly inferior compared to the Indicator release. The Indicator release is a 4K and has loads more extras. This has nothing new on it. I apologize, not nothing new. There is a new audio commentary with the Wild Wild podcast, Adrian Smith and Rod Barnett. They do great work. I love their stuff. But the Indicator release is so far beyond this one. It's kind of sad they even tried. And I don't mean that as like an attack at Raro. I get it. I'm glad that this release will be out there because whatever, but man, the UK release is way better than this one. All right, I gotta highlight this comment. Derek says, Austin, bless you for having that righteous platoon leader display behind you. Michael Dudikoff rules. Had to highlight that.
Oh, thank you. My wife should come down here. This is my office in one corner. It's also we have a guest bed over on that side, but it's Canon stuff all the way around. And she was sitting there on the bed while I was working on the computer here, and she's like, how many pictures of Michael Dudikoff do you have on the wall or like cutouts? And I really hadn't thought of it because it's like so many different Canon things I've had. And I'm like, okay, I can sit here and count like 7 or 8 pictures of Michael Dudikoff just around the walls.
So in other words, the answer is not quite enough.
No. There's room for more. I have wall space to fill.
And the ceiling. We'll get there eventually. Next up, December 23rd, Blu-ray from Wellgo USA coming of Delivery Run from 2024. This one sounds sort of interesting. It says Lee, a food delivery driver in snowy Minnesota, struggles with mounting debt, unpaid bills, and pressure from a ruthless loan shark. His day spirals into terror when he finds himself ensnared in a deadly game of cat and mouse with the mysterious and deranged snowplow driver. the very classic, quite quick driving snowplows. On the icy back roads, he fights to protect himself and a goldfish named Reggie from the relentless stalker, but quickly realizes his only chance of survival is to outsmart the crazed killer. I have never heard of a deranged killer film protecting a goldfish.
The protecting a goldfish. That sold me. The snowplow being the villainous snowplow is there's a lot going on in that summary that you read, and all of it fascinates me. All of it.
I would check this one out. Next up, we got some imprint announcements. All of these imprint releases are, what is the best way to say this? Not the hard box releases. My mind immediately wants to say standard releases, but they're still limited edition, and they come in their slip cases, the side loading slip cases. But they're not. These are not the super expensive $85 4K releases. These are going to be about $25 for a Blu-ray, and February 25th is when these are all coming out. The first one, The Fabulous Baker Boys, starring Michelle Pfeiffer. This is from 1989. This one, kind of a pretty incredible cast. We got Jeff and Beau Bridges both on here. You've got, like I said, Michelle Pfeiffer in her prime. I mean, this was 1989. Written, directed by Stephen Kloves, who adapted the screenplays of 7 of the 8 Harry Potter films. This movie's pretty great. Had a US Blu-ray release a couple years ago. This is the first Australian release. All of the extras on here are archival extras, so not a ton of new stuff to go over. But I'm glad this is getting a release, and people can get more eyes on this movie. Have you seen The Fabulous Baker Boys?
It's been a long time, but yeah, that's one that I'll need to. I should revisit.
It is a musical rom-com for those that have never seen it. It is a pretty good movie.
Yeah, what a cast! What a cast!
Absolutely. And next up, one that has many Blu-ray releases, and yet none of them really great. The same date, same imprint, and all that. We got Robert De Niro and Wesley Snipes in The Fan. This is directed by Tony Scott. So everybody that's collecting all of the Tony Scott films, you got to have at least one copy of this. But unfortunately, literally no extras. And at this point, none of the releases of this film have extras at all. So I have a feeling it's the studio blocking extras for this, which is not uncommon. Like anybody that's worked with MGM, stuff like that happens all the time. So I'm curious if there's something about this film that they're not allowed to do anything.
MGM is they tend to limit stuff. That's all I'll say.
Have you done something for an MGM extra?
Well, they own most of the Canon library.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
So they're unfortunately, not everything can be included that you'd like to see included in some of these things.
I always laugh listening to an audio commentary on an MGM film, and every so often there will be like a 4-minute break, and you know that the person doing the commentary didn't just stop talking. MGM just had them remove that portion, and it's like, come on, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a shame with the Canon stuff because I have so many neat things, which is whether they're scripts or things that were like, shots from stuff that was cut out from like scenes that were cut out. And like, I've got the J. Lee Thompson's personal like photographs from his wife's photographs from the set of King Solomon's Mines. And that's something I'll probably never make a DVD release. Right. I don't think MGM would ever allow that. But oh well, we get some cool stuff.
That's true.
They do allow. So
next up is Mr. Jones from 1993. This is the first time this has been released on Blu-ray at all. It's a Richard Gere film. This says, impulsive, irresponsible, irresistible Mr. Jones is a man who effortlessly draws people to him with his infectious charm and fascinating energy. Intelligent, dedicated, respected, Dr. Libby Bowen is a psychiatrist who, despite all her training, is totally unprepared for Mr. Jones. This one, again, no extras on this at all. And I've not seen this movie. I feel like this one's been hard to see for quite some time. This is directed by Mike Figgis. Also has Anne Bancroft in it. Do you know this movie at all?
I don't know this one.
I'm very curious on this one. Craig says, can all these extras be turned into a documentary of its own? I mean, probably, but you'd have to get a lot of licensing and permission from all the people involved, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I would think so.
I think that would be outside of MGM a little bit at that point.
Yeah. It's stuff that I I end up throwing a lot of the stuff just out there online because I like to share it.
Yeah.
I'll go through scripts, and online I'll be cutting out like whole scenes that are missing. I'll throw up images on Instagram and things like that. So just sharing it in some way.
Yeah, got to get it out there.
Yeah.
Next up, another first time on Blu-ray anywhere in the world, Wrong is Right from 1982. This is a Sean Connery starring film, and it is a sharp-tongued political satire written and directed by Richard Brooks, based on the book The Better Angels by Charles McCary. And it says, when a globe-trotting reporter comes across a story involving a terrorism plot, he discovers things may not be as they seem. This one also starring, if it's a satire, it's got to have Leslie Nielsen. We've got Dean Stockwell in here, and even Jennifer Jason Leigh. This one, again, no extras. And I feel like for a political satire in 1982, I feel like that should have been a requirement for this film. So again, I wonder if something is blocking it, because man, this one would have been fun as heck to work on.
Yeah, and again, this cast, this is one that I have not seen, but now I need to. It's just 3 names that you wouldn't ever think of putting together, the ones you read off there.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a must. This is definitely on my wish list already. And then we've got True Colors from 1991, another first time on Blu-ray anywhere in the world. This is a John Cusack and James Spader film. This is also going to have Imogen Stubbs, Mandy Patinkin, and Richard Widmark, second Richard Widmark discussion for tonight. This one says, 2 best friends, one aiming for a career in politics, the other the Department of Justice. Their friendship is tested when one discovers the other is involved in corrupt dealings. This one, though, we did get a new commentary. This one with Matthew Ashbury Gear, and that's the only extra. Nothing else besides that commentary. I'm just glad they put something on there. But yeah, I do not know True Colors. Have you seen this one?
No, but I like Herbert Ross.
Yeah.
Loose and Dancers is his one Canon film. But great, cool name to be attached to there. To look for it.
Yeah, and again, like I said, this won't be all that expensive on release date. This should be about $25 US, which isn't terrible for a first time anywhere in the world on Blu-ray title.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And then Racing with the Moon is the next imprint title. This is from 1984. This had also got a Fun City Editions Blu-ray release. This one will have a new audio commentary by Kelly Goodner and Jim Hemphill. That was not on the Fun City release, but all of the other stuff on here, I believe, was on the Fun City disc. So if you don't have the Fun City, might be time to check this one out. Sean Penn, Nick Cage, Elizabeth McGovern.
Yeah.
There's some high notoriety there.
Yeah, Nick Cage. I mean, every movie you can expect him to go out here, but he has some great scenes in this, and he's the third kind of character in here, and but he chews up the scenery. Very young here too, it's just
quite
awesome.
young.
He was
84.
Yeah.
All right, next, Universal releasing the Woody Woodpecker and Friends Golden Age Collection on January 20th on Blu-ray. This is going to have a completely different set of shorts that were not on the 2021 release they did of the Woody Woodpecker and Friends collection. This is going to be covering all the way from 1939 to 1966. It's not exhaustive or anything like that, and I believe quite a few of these have been restored. The rumor is some of these probably don't look all that great because they don't have materials for them anymore, but these should look better than they've ever been on home video. So if you're into Woody Woodpecker, might be a good time. Again, animation getting some solid releases lately. Next up, one that I am shocked we are getting. January 20th, Universal is releasing the Ma and Pa Kettle Complete Comedy Collection. This covers all 10 films from 1947 to 1957. Have you seen any of the Ma and Pa Kettle films?
No, I have not. I'm intrigued by this elderly couple at the looking over the fence at us. Tell me more.
I know when I was younger, I saw at least The Egg and I. That's their most famous one because it was the first one. And I most likely seen one or two of the others. It is just very like, not to disparage anybody, but like boomer humor type of comedy films. Definitely something that my great-grandparents watched when I was younger. So it was on when I walked through the living room or something like that. I don't have any real memories of this other than I know that I've seen The Egg and I. If you like Ma and Pa Kettle, sound off in the chat. I would love to highlight it. And then next up, we had talked about Shameless coming on a complete series Blu-ray release on January 6th. Well, for everybody that was buying the individual seasons, they're also putting out a season 10 and season 11 individual releases. So you don't have to pick up the full box set to get those last two if you got the first 9. I'm not a Shameless person. I've never seen it. Have you seen the show at all?
Mm-mm.
Good. We both have zero knowledge. I know it's beloved. Neither one of us have given it a crack at all. This year, speaking of Nick Cage, he was in 2025's The Carpenter's Son, and it is coming to Blu-ray and DVD on February 9th over in the UK from Altitude Film. No word on the extras on this yet, so I'm guessing there probably won't be any. But I've heard this is kind of interesting. I want to see this. I've heard it's not great, but I've also heard it's very unique. So yeah. Let's see. Vinny talking about Mon Pa Kettle says, corn pone humor, as we used to call it, prototype for Hee Haw. That is quite in line with Hee Haw. That's true.
My kids they've gotten into Red Green. It's a weird thing for 2 Gen Alpha children to get into, but I'm curious. Then will Mon Pa Kettle be their current humor interest?
Watch, we get a resurgence in Mon Pa Kettle love in people under the age of 14. All right, next up, we talked about this film semi-recently too. 2025's Good Boy is coming to 4K, Blu-ray, and DVD over in the UK on February 16th from the new label Visions Home Video. This is going to have a making an indie film featurette and a trailer on the disc. It's going to have a slipcover, 4 art cards, and a reversible poster. Did you happen to see this film this year?
Mm-hmm.
So this is a unique movie. I saw this one in the theater, and it is essentially a horror movie from the perspective of the dog. The entire movie is shot low to the ground like that. It is only what the dog is able to see. It's kind of like third person where you can see the dog and the dog reacting to things, but you're not delivered plot in a way that you as a human would understand. It's basically just what the dog would hear. So you don't get like full conversations. You don't. You'll walk in the room and see like some movement in the corner and be like, oh, there's something there. And you're going to stare at it for a second. But it was an interesting movie. Was it fully successful? I don't think so. But
that sounds cool though. It's like, what a cool concept.
It took a wild swing, and I love the poster, and the dog was incredible. So yeah, check this out. This one, honestly, kind of surprised for a brand new label. This is available to pre-order in the US, which means that's probably even marked up a couple dollars for only $30 from a couple of the third-party retailers.
Awesome.
Media OCD or Animigo, they are putting out on January 20th. Prime Rose, a time slip of 10,000 years from 1983. Are you an anime fan?
A lapsed anime fan. I went through the days of buying, a few episodes of stuff at a time, Neon Genesis Evangelion and stuff from Suncoast Video when they were on the tapes. So I've missed a lot of stuff over the last couple decades, but 80s and 90s like mech stuff was my jam for a long time.
Nice.
Up to the early 2000s. I saw somebody was doing a Project A-Ko release or did one recently, and that's one that struck a nerve that I'd forgotten a long time ago. I was like, oh boy.
So this one, if you order from the Media OCD website, you'll get a free slipcover, and then there is going to be dub outtakes, dubbing, cast interviews, dub staff commentary, trailers, design sketches, stuff like that. Looks like a solid release if you're into anime, and I love that some of these older animation releases are getting like decent restorations and looking good on disc.
Yeah, the colors always look awesome, even even when the animation isn't as smooth as some of the higher budget stuff. Like the colors are incredible on Blu-ray.
Yeah. Next, January 20th, there's a Blu-ray and DVD release coming from Decal for Orwell 2 + 2 = 5, which came out this year. This movie, if you've never heard of it, says George Orwell was one of the most visionary authors of the 20th century, whose novels 1984 and Animal Farm foretold a chilling authoritarian future. Acclaimed director Raoul Peck, who did I Am Not Your Negro, interweaves clips, readings from Orwell's diary, cinematic references, and modern-day footage to craft not only a portrait of the writer, but a fresh take on how prophetic his work has become. I have heard that this is incredible, and I really need to see this. I'm glad it's getting a disc. I wish it wasn't a BDR, and I wish it wasn't Decal, but I'm glad it's going to be out on physical media. Next up, we've got a release delay. Kino Lorber's 4K release of Mimic from Guillermo del Toro has been pushed back till February 24th. No details on why, but if I had to guess, it's just the manufacturing everywhere right now is backed up. There are lots of delays happening, lots of titles being pushed back a week or 3, and should not be super surprised to see this happen. And if I'm a betting man, I would say in the next couple months, we're probably going to continue to see that until probably about middle of February, like this release, because after the busy season, it's got to slow down at some point a little bit. Next up, Kino also releasing on February 24th, Jack Benny Comedy Classics Collection. This is going to include Man About Town from 1937 and the film Artists and Models from 1939. You've got brand new 2K scans of the 35mm fine grain elements, a new commentary for Artists and Models by Eddie Von Muller. We got new commentary for Man About Town by Paul Anthony Nelson and Lee Zechariah. And then you've got the trailers on here, both mastered in 2K. I have not seen any Jack Benny things in a long time, so I'm very curious to check this out.
And I really appreciate using the original art for so many of these releases that we've seen here tonight, between the Kino releases and the Warner Archive stuff. It's just like, it's good to see this gorgeous golden age artwork. It's as good as it was 90 years ago.
And then we see A Beautiful Mind airbrushed to hell. I'm just glad we're not airbrushing Jack Benny, that's for sure. Next up, speaking of airbrushing, Cold Epics putting out Tinto Brass's The Key from 1983 on 4K. I don't think they've announced a full release date yet, but you can pre-order this now from their brand new website, which has a brand new innovative feature called a shopping cart, where you can put multiple things in this cart and check out and buy multiple things and not just one title, which is nice. I'm so glad that Cold Epics finally put that on their website. I hope other sites start to take notice and use shopping carts as well. This as a 4K transfer and restoration from the OCN. If you buy from their website, you get the site exclusive slipcover and 4 lobby card postcards. Those are limited to 500. It's got an audio commentary by friend of the show, Eugenio Ercolani, and Marcus Stiglegger, German film historian. We've got an interview with the actor Franco Brancarioli. We got a look at the Venetian locations of the film. We got a special on Ennio Morricone and Tinto Brass, and then some archival extras like photo galleries and such. Tinto Brass. Are you into Tinto Brass stuff at all?
So what scares me about having these releases is like any time I throw on a Sylvia Kristel movie or something, that's when one of my kids will wake up and come downstairs and just want a story or something, or just need company. And so this would not be as high. I'm sure it's going to be a gorgeous release, but on my personal list of devices, I know something, as soon as I put that disc on, the kids are going to come down 2 flights of stairs all the way in the basement and have questions.
So my kids, I'm very lucky. My kids are overactive during the day, which I don't know if this is just luck, but overnight, they're like, if they go to bed, they're in bed for the most part. Wow. And I don't usually have to worry about that. However, the first time I watched Lone Wolf and Cub, I'm sitting there like fully locked into Lone Wolf and Cub. There is people getting sliced in half on the screen. And all of a sudden, not like behind me, walks into the room in between me and the TV, wakes me up from like this staring at this amazing cinema, my oldest. And he's like, "Hey Dad, can I get some water?" or something like that. And I'm like, you just witnessed like 4 people getting killed in 12 seconds. This is not a great time for you to be out here.
That Criterion set came right around the time my daughter was born, or sometime shortly thereafter. So it was very funny to be watching this guy push around his baby with all this carnage going around, and me pushing my baby around New York City streets. It was just like, I watched them over the course of like a week. And
nice.
It's a fun time. It was very vivid memories being a new father and watching Lone Wolf and Cub, and how those one hopefully doesn't affect the other.
Yeah, it was a good time. And I love this comment from Colton. Pinto Brass is a great drag king name. Yeah, it works. That's for sure. All right. Next, we've got Ignite, the same ones that did Reanimator on 4K. They just announced that on March 20th, they're releasing a 4K and Blu-ray release of The Big Combo, the 1955 noir film. This is getting, oddly for them, a 4K Steelbook and a 4K Standard Edition. And what's crazy is not only are they doing a 4K Steelbook, two different options. You've got one with the original art and then one with this newly reimagined, very black and white art. And I got to say, this is really cool that you can go to their site and they've got this, like, it's kind of choppy. I got to be honest. It's kind of shitty. But they've got a video of a, like, full 360 of the Steelbook. And it really highlights that they're doing this debossing on the Steelbook. That's really cool. I'm not normally like, dang, the Steelbook is great. But this one looks kind of really awesome. So check it out if you're into the Steelbook thing. But they've got a standard edition. And it's got a reversible cover with the old original art. It is going to be available, like I said, in 4 editions. It's got all kinds of extras on here. We get a new commentary with Imogen Sarah Smith, one of the best in the business. She does a lot of stuff for Criterion. Yeah. She is a noir expert. We've got, it is going to include a new interview with Philippe Garnier, and it is going to include a new visual essay by Scout Tafoya, who's always great. We've got legacy bonus features, including Eddie Muller doing commentary, and then a new booklet with a brand new intro by Eddie Muller. There's commissioned essays. Some of my favorite people on here. Scout Tafoya did another one there, and then Alonzo Duralde, who's great. Yeah, all kinds of incredible stuff.
That's absolutely incredible. Wow.
Let's see. Dustin in the chat says Austin is the man. He's the Canon Films historian. All the best, Dustin from Retro Fiend Radio.
Oh, hey, Dustin. Hey, thanks for stopping by. Great to see you. Thank you for saying that too. That's awesome. Thank you. Retro Fiend Radio. He and Christian do some just incredible documentaries that you can watch on YouTube. But one of the nearest and dearest to my hearts. They've done a lot of stuff with Sam Furstenberg, our mutual friend here, but they did a great series with the stunt coordinator, Stephen Lambert, who worked on all of those Canon movies and really got into not just his career, but also his life and his interest in martial arts and talking to the people who worked with him in different aspects. And it's just this incredible look at a very hardworking person in the film business doing a role that doesn't always get the attention it deserves. The stunt coordinators don't really get, unless there's somebody who does their own stunts, they get a big deal of it. But yeah, there's just this absolutely, they've done the definitive documentary on Avenging Force that I love so much. But yeah, check out their stuff, especially the Stephen Lambert videos, if you just want to know what it was like doing stunt work for Canon in the 80s and working on all these different movies. And yeah, it's awesome. Stephen sadly unexpectedly passed away not too long after they made this documentary, but it makes me even more grateful that they did it, because just an awesome dude with so many incredible stories, and that he was very happy to share, and they did such a good job capturing, getting out there. But yeah, check out their documentaries, because Dustin and Christian do some awesome stuff.
That sounds great. Yeah, by all means, Dustin, put a link in the chat, or is it just through your channel? Everybody go click and subscribe over there. That sounds great. Indicator, who is housed out of the UK, but both of these coming in the UK and the US, announced 2 really great titles from Australia today. We got March 23rd in the UK, March 24th in the US, a 4K and Blu-ray release of The Survivor from 1981. Both of these titles that have been released many times on Blu-ray by many companies. This is the first time on 4K for both of them, I believe. This one is going to have 3 presentations of the movie. You've got the previously unseen director's cut, the original Australian theatrical version, and then the shorter US version. You got a commentary on the Australian version from 2018. You got a commentary on the Australian version from 2012. Not Quite Hollywood interviews, all kinds of archival stuff on here. And then a brand new appreciation by Stephen Morgan and a couple other random things that they threw in there, plus an 80-page booklet, lots of new essays, and writing on here some excerpts from unpublished memoirs. Just overloaded with stuff. Indicator, as I mentioned earlier about the Plot of Fear release, it is hard to compete with Indicator releases.
Yeah, that's loaded. That's amazing. Beautiful cover, and I will grab anything that has anything Mark Hartley touched on it.
Yep.
So obviously huge fan of all of his documentaries.
I was about to say he's like a god around these parts, right?
Yeah. His awesome. Yeah, I have to seek this one out because I don't have any of the other releases of this one. So
Nice.
this seems
Perfect
like the
timing.
ideal time to grab it.
I love this poster.
Yeah.
Just great design, definitely eye-catching. And then another one that is beautiful to look at. The next title is Dead Kids, aka Strange Behavior from 1981. This is going to be uncut for the first time in the UK, which is really cool. We got a 4K restoration of the original negative that Indicator did themselves. You got two presentations of the film, the original Australian theatrical and the US theatrical, which the US theatrical is 2 minutes shorter than the Australian one. We got commentaries that are archival on here. Fiona Lewis fondly looking back on the movie and the production itself. We've got all kinds of archival stuff that goes back through many of these releases. And then new presentation of a 2004 interview with Janine about the film. We get an appreciation by Stephen Morgan about this one as well. And then again, an 80-page booklet with new essay by Paul Duane, an exclusive extract from the producer's unpublished memoirs, and more. Again, just solid releases for both.
What? Yeah. What incredible rosters of like people they have working on these discs.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Indicator gets so many giant names, and then
Paul Duane's another one. It's like anytime I see his name on something, even if I'm not as interested in the film, that makes me interested in the release.
Dustin responded to you, says, "Thank you for the kind words, Austin. You guys rock. Keep up the great work. Here's our channel. Rest in peace to Stephen Lambert. He was a legend. All the best." Thanks, Dustin.
Yeah, thank you. Keep up the good work, guys. I love it.
All right. Next, VVS Films in Canada is putting out the first physical release of If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You from this year, starring Rose Byrne. This has a director's commentary by Mary Bronstein and then a first look on the film. Did you get a chance to see this one this year?
I did not. Do you recommend it?
Especially as a parent, I will say this is going to be a film that you watch and you say, that was one of the best movies I've ever seen, and I will never see it again.
That's funny. Yeah, becoming a parent does that. It's ruined a lot of, not ruined, but made me a lot of really wonderful films that I just can't watch again. They're just too hard.
This is not a trauma against child type of movie. This is a parent going through it type of movie. And it is a just masterwork of a performance from Rose Byrne. She's incredible. Conan O'Brien plays her therapist in this, and he's just stupendous. And then out of nowhere, you can hear his voice in the beginning and on the phone a couple times, but Christian Slater shows up as her husband at the end of this. Great movie. Also a small part by A$AP Rocky, which is really great. This is just an amazing movie. All right, that is If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. Next up, I talked about Deaf Crocodile and their subscription earlier. Well, today they revealed all of the titles coming up from January through June. So let's run through this. We've got White Son of the Desert, which is one of the biggest Soviet Osterns out there. It's like a Eastern European Western. We've got Crocodile, which is stupendous. That movie is coming out on 4K, and if you've never seen Crocodile, you're gonna love it. I would say wait, because the 4K restoration on that is legendary. It's gonna look amazing. Don't go look up clips because it's nothing compared to what you're gonna see. Then we've got a 4K coming of Song of the Miraculous Hind. This is an animation title that is going to be gorgeous on 4K. And then my most just very, very anticipated release here is Dead Mountaineers Hotel. Have you seen that one?
Mm-mm.
So Dead Mountaineers Hotel is a story about this snowy lodge in the middle of the mountains, and there are murders that start to happen. And that story in itself is not super compelling, but the thing that is very compelling here is that you can basically hop in and get a quick sneak peek at these murders happening and how they're investigating it through the various angles of the hotel. And the filmmaking in this is unique in ways that you would never imagine. Like, there are shots where you can see somebody across a courtyard walking down an all glass hallway that are beautiful. I can't wait for people to see it. It is just amazing. And yes, I skipped Bill Plimpton. I'm sorry, Craig. Hair High from Bill Plimpton is the next deluxe edition there. We got a 5-film box set of Deefa Fairy Tales coming. Black Rabbit, White Rabbit coming on 4K, which is the brand new title from Shahram Mokri, the Iranian filmmaker. That is just going to be legendary. Legend of the Sacred Stone, which is I'm not kidding here, a puppet martial arts film. And I cannot wait to see the release for that one. Tomorrow, which is a Olivia Newton-John movie, which didn't think I'd be saying about a Deaf Crocodile release, but here we are. And then maybe one of the more exciting for lots of people, capping it off, is Hoffmaniata. That is going to be the last title in June. Just astonishing releases from Deaf Crocodile over the next 6 months.
Yeah, what a lineup. And a martial arts puppet movie. That's awesome. Awesome. All right.
Brendan is saying, what are the Deefa Fairy Tales? They have not announced yet, so you will have to wait and find out, because there are a lot of Deefa titles that are technically fairy tales that can be included. So just wait and see. If you want to subscribe, their subscription is only open until December 19th. And if you are going to subscribe, one little hint is you can actually jump on and be a member first. And they just put out brand new tiers for their membership. And one of them is the exact amount to get a subscription. So you just immediately get a $50 discount if you become a member before you subscribe. So check that out.
That's awesome.
Yes.
What a lineup.
Great looking subscription.
Yeah. Wow.
Next, Paramount putting out the standalone 4K of Friday the 13th 2. This is one that was released in the Paramount Scares Volume 2 box set. This is the first time it's been on its own on 4K in the US. This was released previously on UK by itself in the UK. But yeah, no new extras or anything like that. The scan for this one is very good. I know a lot of people were kind of put off by the Friday the 13th Part 1 4K. This one looks great. Check it out. Then I've got two things to talk about that are not announcements, but also kind of announcements. If you have never been involved in the Shelf Shock Rewind Awards, I have just opened up nominating for the creator section. Can't speak. Let me start over. The Creator Selection Committee has just opened up nominations for the Shelf Shock Rewind Awards. And what are those awards? If you've never seen them before, they are an award show dedicated to physical media. That this will be the 4th year in a row that they are happening. It's a huge deal every year. We get people from the labels on to talk about the releases, to accept their awards. We get creators from all over the world that are filmmakers, YouTubers, podcasters, home video restoration artists. We get people from these labels all voting on their favorite releases of the year. And it is going to be huge this year, primarily because I announced this is my last time hosting it. I'm going to help out in the years to come. But yeah, this is my last time being the face of the award show. And if you are a creator, meaning if you have written books, if you've made films, if you're a short film creator, if you've done anything in podcasting, and you want to be a part of this, send me a message on any of my social media or email me at disconnectedmedia@gmail.com, and I will get you the nomination form, and you can vote this year as part of the Creator Selection Committee. It's a big ordeal. You'll love it. I would love to have you be a part of it. Please check it out. And the last thing, for anybody that has their own show, whether that be podcast, YouTube, anything like that, I have a giant project that is getting announced in January that I need to promote the hell out of. And so if you would have me, I would love to be a guest. I'm trying to fill up as many spots as I can. My schedule is going to be packed pretty tight over the next 6 weeks of promotional opportunities. So please have me on. I cannot wait to share everybody what this is. But until then, if you've got a show, please let me come on and talk about it. We will happily discuss. All right. Just in case you forgot, let's talk about what's coming out this next Tuesday here in the U.S. Run through these really quick. We've got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4K box set from Arrow. We've got Pee-wee's Big Adventure 4K from Criterion. Still can't believe we're getting that. We've got Boogie Nights on 4K in the Steelbook and the standard release. Leaving Las Vegas. Lots of Nick Cage tonight. 4K from Shout Factory. Babe and Babe Pig in the City on 4K from Kino. David Cronenberg's Rabid on 4K from Shout Factory. David Byrne's American Utopia coming from Criterion. Jarhead 4K Steelbook drops next week. Scars of Dracula 4K from Kino. Walking Tall from 2004 4K from Kino as well. Filmmasters putting out their Vincent Price House on Haunted Hill release next week. We've got some of those Warner Archive titles coming out. We've got Wally Gator, the complete series, Lippy the Lion, and Hardy Har Har on Borrowed Time, and then San Antonio and the Valley of Decision, all dropping next week from Warner Archive. We've got Monk, the complete series, coming out next week, which, again, I know that we've pointed this out every time, but I love that as a show about somebody with OCD, one part of the entire box set doesn't have a slipcover in the end. Hilarious. Shout Factory's Hong Kong New Wave Essentials comes out next week. That is a site-exclusive box set. You can buy that on Groove. Alrane and the Student of Prague Standard Edition from Def Crocodile is getting its wide release next week. Saga of the Phoenix from 88 Films. We've got Liver Leaf coming next week. I Love Melvin, also from Warner Archive. Interrupted Melody from Warner Archive. Delinquent Schoolgirls from VCI coming as part of their Psychotronica collection. Rockers 4K from MVD, Young Violent Dangerous from Raro, OC and Stigs from Radiance Films, and a handful of others that I need to see, like Thank You Very Much and The Raw Ones from VCI, plus that documentary Beast Wishes, which thankfully they removed this terrible AI cover and replaced it with proper artwork. Anything from this next week that you're checking out here soon, Austin?
Well, I will be checking out the Pee-wee's Big Adventure. I'm happy to replace my Snapcase DVD. That's one that I missed in the last generation. So that's going to be a huge upgrade for me there. I should look into the Reanimator 4K. That one I have not ordered yet, but I would just love to see the green needle in HDR just like disappear down the screen. The credit, I imagine like all the opening credits are just going to be something that are just going to blow my mind, and and a 4K with all the grading and everything done. And yeah, there are a few down here. Do you mind scrolling down a second?
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, Walking Tall. That was the one that. So unfortunately, I'm still waiting for a nice release of the original Walking Tall. That's one that I'm surprised that hasn't gotten a nice like special edition from anywhere. It is. It seems like when I saw. Again, I think I saw this without the cover announced, like somewhere Walking Tall 4K, and I started jumping up and down. I was like, no, it's the Rock one.
Oh, it's the Rock.
Yeah. But yeah, there's like some good weeks here. Stuff they're squeezing in right before the holidays.
October, November, December has been brutal for pickups. Like there are so many things. It is impossible to get everything you want with the pricing and everything. But God, if I could, man, I would be surrounded by stacks right this moment.
Yeah, Boogie Nights. Boogie Nights is another one that I did not get to Blu-ray. I still got the slipcase DVD that is, really extremely battered at this place because it's come with me from 4 or 5 different moves.
Great DVD though, I will say.
Yeah. So that's one of those ones that's a very, very battered one that I'm way overdue to replace. So
incredible week ahead. Check it out if you are after anything. All right. Before we get into our topic for the night, the Canon Film Guides are out there. When did the first one come out? That was
the first one. Yeah. So I released my first book in 2020, in spring of 2020.
Great time.
So that was, I got to do some traveling around and doing some book events and stuff for the second one, which came out in 2022. So yeah, it's been a little while. The third one is taking me much longer, but my kids are older. They have more things going on. But it's interesting because this last era of Canon, the later years, like I kind of call it the straight to video era, because a lot of the stuff was going straight to video, and it's amazing because you do get into these movies that have not nearly as many letterboxd views as you think, that they haven't been written about, even because they weren't released in theaters, even original reviews. So the research is surprisingly, for this volume, a lot of it has to come from the direct sources, because I can't get production info about it unless I talk to somebody who was there. So it's definitely been a slower process writing this one, but I am plugging away at it everywhere I can, and I'm excited. There are some chapters in there that are some of my favorites I've written that I'm very excited to get out there and share. And there's some fun stuff, even though we are past most of the biggest, best known Canon movies that most people associate. By the time you get to, you still get Van Damme like the Rise of Van Damme, you do get a lot more Dudikoff, you get a lot more Norris, and couple more Bronson movies squeezed in there. But you do get like the whole story of the Warring Lambada movies, which I want to say is like my Ken Burns documentary that I've written in here. It's just the Lambada Wars going on. So there's just stuff that I'm really, really excited. Movies that I did not expect to be this excited and find this much interesting stuff about them. So it's been a fun one because this is one where I've really had to dig deep on a lot of these, but the stuff I'm pulling out there is truly stuff that, these are movies that people haven't talked about. This is another one that between the first 2 volumes, there's still like a handful of movies that are only available on VHS or in the first 2 volumes. On this one, I'd say maybe a third of it has never had a proper DVD release. So I am screening these from, I've got a beautiful 4K TV, but then I've got a tiny VHS built-in TV that's sitting in the corner of this office over here, and I'm watching erotic, like very bad erotic thrillers that are
in 240p.
that were rentals, so they're very worn out. And so it's fun because it's also, when I started the first book, a lot of the movies that are now on Blu-ray were not on Blu-ray yet.
Right.
And so it's cool. It's taking me back to that very beginning because it's a fun way to watch these movies. As glad as I am to watch Revenge of the Ninja in 4K, I'm very excited for it. It's also very fun still to pop in the big box VHS tape and watch it the same way I did when I was, in 6th grade.
It has been a hell of a 5 years for Canon. A lot of the stuff that never got attention has gotten releases that has led to people finally talking about them. And I got to say, like, I love the first 2 books. I'm very stoked that people have truly discovered things about them because there's lots of information that has never been compiled that way before, which is why you had to do it. So thank you.
Thank you.
But I must say, I think the third one is the one that I'm like most eager for because, again, there's not like writing on most of these films. A lot of the films from the first 2 books, there was some stuff out there. Sure, never compiled like this, but this one seems to be the most exciting for the people that like discovering things, for things brand new to them. So I can't imagine like the research process. How are you going about that? When you're watching one of these that doesn't have a modern Blu-ray release, what all are you doing to research?
Well, I mean, so there's a lot. If there's any major star or anything, not even, I can't say major star, like even recognizable star. If you can watch the movie and know somebody's name, a lot of it, I look through old articles. I have a lot of newspaper subscriptions. I spend a lot of time down at the Performing Arts Library in Lincoln Center because they have some great archives from Variety and all the different trade magazines. There's that. But then in the stuff for the films where that's not available, which is a lot of them, I'll be honest, I am going down the credits list and seeing who I can find on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on and sending very very kind email messages. Hey, you don't know me. You made this movie 30 years ago, and maybe it was the only movie you in, or one of a few movies you worked on like a few years ago, but would you like to talk about it? And so it's nice, a lot of times there aren't responses, but then there are the responses where it's like, nobody's asked me about this movie. I've been working as, like I haven't even been in the film business for years and years and years, but I'm excited to tell these stories and they'll remember things. And so it's a lot of that, a lot of directly trying to just hunt down the people. And what's nice is this process is easier to do that than it was for the movies that were made in 80, 81, 82, because movies that are made in 92, 93, even in the 94, the people that's almost a difference. Like that's 10 to 15 years. So you're working with people who are not quite as up there in age. And so it's made it a little bit easier.
I don't know if you see this. Craig says, we just had our roof done at our house and the guy's dad was one of the founders of Canon.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Yeah. Out in that's very cool. Trying to think. Wonder who's working in roofing, but yeah, I know he has a couple sons, 2 sons at least. So
All right.
awesome.
So the two books available on Amazon and hopefully a lot of independent bookstores still.
Mhm.
Where's the best place for people to pick them up to support you?
Well, it from my end, anywhere. That's it's all the same to me. And with that note, any independent bookstore can grab it for you. If you have an independent bookstore, just give them the title. They can order it. It's through a very large distributor, and at least they'll pick up some. Because on my end, whether you get it from Amazon or you get it from the place on the corner, it doesn't make a difference to me. I'd rather you at least get some of that money to go somewhere independent.
Right.
That said, unless you see me at like the Mahoning Drive-In or something with a table set up, like that's the best place. That's but that's limited by geography.
Sad but true. So yes, please go check those out if you are even semi-interested in Canon Films. Literally some of the best film reference books out there from the last 10 years. Truly just honored to have you on the show. I adore your work and glad you're here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. That really means a lot.
Well, then let's change the subject dramatically from Canon Films to talk about holiday films. So tonight we are talking about off the beaten path, weirdo Blu-ray recommendations for holiday movies. Why are you into these type of movies there, Austin?
Well, so this is the time of year. We first talked about this months ago, getting together, but seasons have come, and we are in the middle of the holiday season now. As evidence behind me, I usually don't have the Christmas tree blanket here, but the rest of the stuff is here for the most part. But I have a box of movies, and it's, you have all of the classics, that stuff that you see every year that's played on TV around your Christmas Stories, your Elves, your It's a Wonderful Life. And all of those are in there, but there are also like a stack of movies that I've picked up from labels that have like some Christmas themes and things like that, or things that you wouldn't necessarily think of immediately as a Christmas movie. And they'll come out of this box, which this box is what comes out the day after Thanksgiving for me. And it's what we work through. Like I do get really into the holiday movie season. To be honest, a lot of my all-time favorite movies are holiday movies. So that's, I love this time of year, and I love movies set in this time of year. And I think there's always a few weeks, especially when we have such a short holiday season, right, as we do this time, that I am just trying to dive as headfirst as I can into the world of holiday films.
I am so stoked to see what you pick tonight. There is some great titles that have been released by boutiques here in the last 3 months that could easily fall on this list. We are going to dive into as many of them as we can. I think I've got 7 here just in case. And then I'm sure we'll both have some honorable mentions that if they're not on either of our lists, we can shout out really quick. So let's see, what is your first recommendation? These aren't ranked or anything like that. These are just like 5 favorites.
These are just ones that I've been. So Cronauer, I'm sorry, I'm butchering your handle here, but he just spoiled one. But just because this release is so fantastic and it's still like a few hundred copies left, I'm shocked, especially since the movie Orgy sold out so fast in this last sale, that I looked before I grabbed it to talk about it tonight, because I was like, I'm sure it's gone. I'm sure it's unavailable. And this is great. This movie, I mean, it is easy to see anywhere. A lot of the Mystery Science Theater version is, which is the first one I saw, and it's easy to find. But this release is, I mean, the movie, it's a great version of this film, but it has so much cool stuff on it. Yeah. They have, AGFA has done this whole, the thing, what they call it, the Santa Claus Conquers the Drive-In, plus just a bunch of something weird VHS mastered stuff, like just bizarre Christmas things. They've got the Liberace Christmas special on here, lots of like bumpers, little like odd things, and I love for weird Christmas stuff. And this is a disc that, like some of their other releases, I mean, they did the great thing with the drive-in bumpers recently, and all their horror. They do the trailer discs and the mixtapes and stuff. That's something that they do incredibly well, and it's always when their announcements go up, I have to see it, because they also do the play all function, which I love. So this is something that as soon as Thanksgiving dinner was over, we had my RR watch, and this is one that just went straight in and played probably twice through, and it's just
Nice.
It's just awesome. And Santa Claus Conquers the Martians is a very fun film. I'm hoping someday we get a similar release of Santa Claus or Santa Claus versus the Devil. The other one that was on Mystery Science Theater, that's public domain, but I'm guessing the elements are, there's just nothing that looks good. It's the DVD copies are as good as it might ever look for us, but I'd love to see that. But this is an awesome disc, and I think there were still 300 copies or something when I checked this afternoon. So
yeah, the standard edition is still in stock. There's almost 400 of those. Pick those up.
Okay.
They're shipping partner label stuff right now pretty quick. So if you order just this title, they might ship that even this week and get it to you before Christmas. So totally worth it. This disc is great. And yeah, good shout on the Play All. AGFA does that as a special feature a lot of times. They'll put 3 films on a disc, and literally you press one button and you've got the next 4 hours of your life programmed for you. And it's always a good time. Yeah.
So that's my first one. And thanks to Cronauer, because I had to, as soon as they said that, I jump in with it, because I'm I'm betting this is on Ryan. This might be on Ryan's pile.
I kind of assumed it was going to be on yours, so I left it to the side.
All right.
I actually, one of the ways that I thought I would juxtapose you, I went slightly more modern on a few of mine.
Okay.
So we'll see if any of those cross over. The first one is I had to highlight his film because I adore this movie. This is by far the most mainstream of these picks, though. This is the beautiful movie Tangerine by Sean Baker. This release is just incredible from Second Sight. If you don't know, because this obviously doesn't jump across as a Christmas movie, it takes place on Christmas Eve. All of these stories are mashing up together at Christmas Eve at a donut shop. It is a just beautiful classic Sean Baker story, this classic moment in time of these different families facing their different problems and different things happening to different people and how they respond to them. And then oddly enough, all of those stories just happen to cross paths at the perfect moment. And that synchronicity and this slice of life moment is what makes a lot of Sean Baker stuff really special. And I will say this is easily the better than I could have dreamed for a movie shot on iPhones. This is the first movie that everybody was, oh my God, this whole thing was shot on iPhones. And it's still a very beautiful looking movie. It is so well made. The booklet on this is really great. The extras on here are pretty great. Second Sight has delivered another good release of his stuff this year with the Florida Project. But honestly, that I feel like the Tangerine release is even better than the Florida Project. So check it out. I truly love Tangerine. If you've not seen it, please see it.
Yeah, that's such a good one. I don't have that release, or that would have been the top of my pile. That's such a good one.
Nice. All right, your second choice.
All right, let me go through here and see, because one of these I'm afraid is out of print, so I'm going to save that till the end. Well, okay, so this is from a label that I'm a big fan of, and it's something that when they first broke on the scene, I did not think it was oh, okay, that's kind of interesting, but then I've kind of been on top of everything they've been putting out, because it's very well curated, but it's Canadian International, and Canadian cinema, I don't know it other than stuff that came here, but they're so well curated with the stuff that they get, and I love that about them. But they've been putting out the Tales for All movies, a few of them, and you can guess it's probably the Christmas Martian is one that so this was made by a documentary filmmaker. I believe it was his only narrative feature he made, and it is a bizarre little movie, but it has some very creative visual effects. It's basically mankind's first encounter with aliens, but it happens to be a Christmas an alien, a goofy alien who lands in Quebec around Christmas time, and there's some fun visual tricks. He flies around with the kids when he's walking around in the snow. The leaves green spots. He plays hockey by like sliding around on his belly like a penguin with the children, and it is the most low stakes alien invasion movie or like alien come to Earth movie that I've ever seen. Like eventually they like the folk try to like they get suspicious of them, but it's mostly like an alien comes and visits Earth around Christmas time and just has a good time with some kids for a little while, and then yeah, it's great. And there are actually some other movies, but like so many Canadian international movies, and I think just a lot of movies shot in Canada, it's very snowy in there. So this is a movie that's just shot on very deep, very real snow. It's beautiful. It feels very Christmassy watching it, even though the Christmas content is the biggest part of it. But it's a delightful release, and from a label that, again, like I would never have, if I'd gone back in time and told myself that one of my favorite labels would be one that just puts out Canadian movies that you haven't seen, I would not have
Canadian films ever made.
yeah, I would just like I never would have believed that this would be like one of the ones I would get most excited about when like the OCN announcements go up, and I'm like, I guess it's AGFA and usually Canadian International, like the first two I go to look for to see what's new.
That is a great choice. Yeah, Canadian International is great at what they do. I'm hoping that they ramp up some big releases soon. They've been teasing some big things, but the last couple of months they've been kind of quiet. So eager to see what they got coming next. This next one is one that does not get a lot of Christmas love for a lot of people, but funny enough, a lot of the marketing has Christmas in the marketing, and is something that when you watch it, it's quite obviously a Christmas movie. And I'm not going to say a ton about the plot on this one, because if you've not seen it, which is most people, I'm going to say you have to see this movie, not blind. And so I'll say a couple details, but if you've not seen it yet, you must see 1978's The Silent Partner with Elliot Gould. You can see Santa Claus straight on the cover here holding a gun. So yeah, there's something interesting here. But for those of you that don't know, this is starring Elliot Gould and Christopher Plummer. This is a bank robbery movie where Elliot Gould is just a casual employee at the bank, and he is witnessing this robbery, and stuff happens, and it is a much more compelling story than that sounds. It is really well acted. It is shot impeccably, and the action in it is very good for the type of movie that it is. I think it is easily one of the more undersung, like, you should watch this as an off the beaten path Christmas stories, because it fits up there with like your modern stuff like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang or Lethal Weapon, like we were talking about. Kind of similar feeling, but less on the comedy side. The Silent Partner, great. Early appearance from John Candy for people, speaking of Canadians. Yeah, check out The Silent Partner. I believe Kino has announced that that's coming on 4K. So if you don't have it and you are an upgrader, you might want to wait slightly. But yeah, the Blu-ray is out there. It's very cheap. Great looking release as well. Me personally, I'm probably not going to upgrade to the 4K. The Blue's more than enough for me. I've watched it a few times.
I was going to say that one, at least they waited a full year before announcing a 4K. I picked that up I think the November sale of last year. I wanted it for the holiday time.
Yeah.
That went in the box. All right. So for my next one here, I'll reach over. Let me see. Well, we were admiring so many great covers and so many great releases from Warner Archive, and there's a Zing sale going on right now. So I have a bunch of Warner Archive holiday releases up there, and I could have picked Shop Around the Corner, or they have like, well, the Thin Man movies, even like those count. I will count them, but the one that I enjoy, because Robert Mitchum's one of my favorites actors. This one is Holiday Affair. It is one that I'd seen on TCM a bunch of times, and so as soon as they announced it a few years ago, I had to be on top of that. It is Robert Mitchum, not a creepy Robert Mitchum, which is always fun to see, but he is basically, there's a woman who, she has a young son, and she's got a stable, wealthy, I think her boyfriend's a lawyer, her fiance is a lawyer, and smoking hot Robert Robert Mitchum comes along and makes a connection with her son, buys him a toy train at a department store that he can't afford, and like the son sort of falls in love with him. So it creates this love triangle between, is she going to go for the guy that the wealthy guy that she's with and that everyone around her likes, or does she go for, you know, the kind of rough around the edges, almost like drifter type Robert Mitchum? And you can guess where it's going to go, but it plays out in a very, very fun way in this one. And yeah, Warner Archive, I have like, I think 4 or 5 of their Blu-ray releases in my Christmas box, but this is my favorite of the bunch.
I just started thinking of all of the Warner Archive titles that could fit in that box. And I mean, there's Meet Me in St. Louis is another one. There's like 11 titles that jump straight to mind. Yeah, solid pick. And I love that it's a Warner Archive title. It's, again, like I said earlier, it's a great time to support Warner Archive.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm going to go from 78 to a much, much, much more modern film. One that I feel like hardly anybody saw, even though it was released in a pretty good version here from Arrow. This is 2022's The Leech, starring Graham Skipper. Graham is a friend of a friend. He is in a bunch of modern horror films. He's friends with Joe Begas. He's been in a couple of his. He was in the musical version of Reanimator. He wrote the Toho licensed book on Godzilla, and he's about to do a new version, updated version of that this year. So yeah, lots of cool stuff from Graham. But The Leech, if you've never seen or heard of this, Graham plays a preacher who takes in a homeless guy who is struggling, can't find a job, has a lot of personal things going on. He allows him to stay in like the priest's home that he uses for his church, and unfortunately, the guy is not really the church house staying type, and so things start to go pretty poor. He also allows a woman half to stay there with him, and unfortunately the pastor starts to get quite, we'll say, tested in his faith, and it starts to unravel in this really weird, like almost surreal way. There's a lot of really great scenes where you don't fully understand what's happening until like the ramifications of it are revealed, and it's a really fun kind of like psychological thriller with a lot of great horror elements. It's a fun movie, very clearly Christmas, Christmas imagery everywhere, lots of snow, shot well, and it will leave you feeling kind of tired after. It is certainly worth the watch. Probably on sale in every Arrow sale because I feel like nobody bought it. But the disc is great. Lots of good extras. The picture looks incredible. Check out The Leech. It's a good movie.
I had not heard of that one, but I have to check it out again. Like nice. even from being from Arrow, and I haven't seen it, so
yeah, that
is definitely flying under radars. Thank you.
Happily.
Right. Let's see. Well, I am going to grab one that I'm afraid might be out of print or just available in certain places. It was available for sale for a song, like an incredibly low amount, and for several different sales, because it was one of the titles that Fun City had, both with Vinegar Syndrome when they were there and with MVD. Maybe it's available somewhere, but it's like $10 and like several sales. But Morvern Caller, again, I'm probably butchering her name, but it is a grim Christmas tale that opens at Christmas time. Absolutely incredible film. Samantha Morton's amazing in it, but the premise, and I can't say too much because it's a movie, you're just sort of watching how things play out. It's not plot heavy, but it's so much about just the tone and the characters. But someone comes home and it's Christmas Day, and she finds her boyfriend is deceased by his own doing, and it's just a unforgettable image with there's blood, but the blinking, twinkling Christmas lights here, and it's a very slow burn at the beginning. But she finds he had left a document open on his computer, and it was a novel he wrote. And what she does really to start the film is goes about her life to kind of like, doesn't talk about him dying, just says he left, but she erases his name from the manuscript and submits it for publication on her own. He had left it for her to submit for him as like a posthumous piece. And the movie just sort of follows how she reacts and what she does afterwards. And it's a movie that it doesn't explain itself at all, which is incredible. It's something. There are many films that do this, but this does it incredibly well, where every time I watch it, I notice something different, and I kind of interpret her actions in different ways and her motives in different ways. And it's a very grim Christmas film, and it's probably I not something sure. It's different than anything else that would be in this box, but it's just also an incredible movie. And this is actually the movie that I'm a unashamed fanboy with Fun City Editions. Jonathan's picks there are just just the movies that he's getting. They're so varied. You can have the same label puts out this, that puts out Paradise, a Blue Lagoon knockoff, and I love that about what he's doing. But this was a movie that I had on DVD, and it was like, everyone keeps in the list of their head of movies you want to see get upgraded, and this movie came out from there that I did not expect, and it's got cool stuff on it. Chris O'Neill does some work for this, which is just fantastic. Nice. But it was one of these things where it's like, here's a newish label that I'm really, really really interested in. And if all of a sudden, as a surprise, they put out one of the movies I most wanted to see on Blu-ray. Yeah. So I am a very, very dedicated follower afterwards, thanks to this.
Amazing. Yeah, it's a great choice. I had one that was probably about as dark as that I was going to talk about, so I will instead change to something different. But man, if you've never seen More Vern Klar, it is quite good, really well directed. This is Lynn Ramsey, who's, I mean, after seeing Die My Love this year that she just put out, she's one of those directors that every time I watch one of her movies, I kind of want to watch them all again. But then I also don't want to do that because I will probably want to kill myself. And I don't want to feel that way, but also it's so enjoyable to feel that juxtaposition. I mean, movies are always, entertaining to me, but there's something about her films that just feel special and lasting and kind of heavy after a while. And not heavy in like, oh, these are deep sort of feeling, but as in like, no, they will literally weigh on you for like the next 4 or 5 days, and you'll just do nothing but dwell on those feelings. So I love the choice. Severin has put out a small amount of Christmas movies, and I feel like this might be the first one that we could theoretically cross over with so far. But I had to talk about one of their first 4K UHD releases, and I love this movie. It is 1995's Day of the Beast. This is directed by Alex de la Iglesia. This is a Spanish film about an individual that has to go to a metal record store to try to solve the small problem of summoning Satan on Christmas Eve to stop the apocalypse from happening. And this movie is hilarious. It's dark. It is genuinely creepy in a couple scenes, but De La Iglesia is such a unique filmmaker. And if you've seen like Perdita Durango, you know exactly what that means, because he is somebody that will not shy away from like making the corniest joke followed by like the most subversively shot scene that you've imagined over the last 90 days. But yeah, it's a great movie. I think it was their second or third 4K that they ever put out. It's a really solid disc. The extras are great. There is a feature-length making of documentary on this that is very, very good. They also put out Perdita Durango on 4K. Solid pickups. Check both of them out. It's not one that it really gets marketed as a Christmas movie, but it very much is a Christmas movie. It is hilarious. Don't go into it like expecting a full-blown horror movie, but it is quite good. Check out The Day of the Beast.
All right. I will. That's awesome.
Awesome.
All right. Next up is, oh boy, my stack is still larger than I expected, but just coming out of
this
one.
This is the fifth one already.
I know, but all right, because we haven't talked about really and many criterions tonight.
Yeah,
I'm going to talk to this again. I just talked about one of my all-time favorite films with Morvan Collar. This is another one that happens to be Christmas, like a lot of Christmas in it, Christmas sets. But from Criterion, it's not Eyes Wide Shut. It is All That Heaven Allows.
Ooh, I've still not seen this.
So Douglas Sirk is another one of my favorite filmmakers who couldn't be further from the Canon realm. But yeah, I'd mentioned earlier, my best birthday was doing a Douglas Sirk marathon at the Film Forum, playing hooky and going to that. But This is one of my ones that if a 4K comes out, I will jump right on it because it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous Technicolor movie. And nice. Douglas Sirk is one of the, in my opinion, the made some of the prettiest films in the 1950s. But this is a movie that, if anybody hasn't seen it, Rock Hudson and Jane Wyman are the two stars. And it's funny because it's supposed to be played as like a May, December, not quite, but she's a widow. She's supposed to be an older woman. She's, I believe, 8 years older than Rock Hudson in this movie. And she's in her late 30s when it was filmed, which is hilarious. But she's got adult children, and they're always going on about like how old she is and how she's too old to have boyfriends and things like that, and how Rock Hudson is too young for her. But she's the society woman, upper class woman. I think that probably has a lot to do with it, and it's going to seem silly to us. And Rock Hudson is this younger man who is kind of I don't want to say a beatnik, but a bohemian fellow who is just interested in trees. He wants to start a tree farm. He sells Christmas trees. He wants to be an arborist, and he does handyman work for her, and they fall in love. And it's this forbidden romance between, a guy in his early 30s and a woman in her late 30s. But what's wonderful, besides it just being a gorgeous movie, a lot of it takes place at Christmas trees. I mean, Rock Hudson's just got flannels and selling Christmas trees through so much of the film. But it's got some very hilarious subtext. Rock Hudson, everyone knows, was closeted at this time. But what is subtext in this movie, watching it now, is there's nothing sub about it. It's just a very open innuendo. And it comes off as kind of, it's fun to watch because there are lines where Jane Wyman asks Rock Hudson if she wishes he was if he wishes she was a man, and he's like, yes, in a certain way. And he talks about how he's not interested in women, he's only interested in her. Like it's got some great stuff. And watching it now, there's no subtext at all, and it's very fun in that way. But just a gorgeous film, very short. It's 80 some minutes, and it's just beautiful. I mean, anybody who's seen Written on the Wind with Douglas Sirk also knows like his subtext could be very much on the cover. I think of the woman stroking the long phallic building at one point in the film, and there's nothing hidden there. There's a lot of boner jokes. If I'll say that now in this one, that are not hidden at all to a 2020 audience, but at the 50s, maybe they didn't see it. I don't know. But wonderful, wonderful film. Just delightful in a lot of ways.
I have to see it. I was trying to think when you brought up the 4K at the beginning. Are there any Douglas Sirk films on 4K yet? I was trying to think.
Not in my collection, so
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Huh.
No.
I guess we're due for a 4K box set. Come on, Criterion.
Yeah, well, I know, because even Written on the Wind got the very, very late. It felt like that came to Blu-ray very late. So that when I was waiting forever for the DVD to get upgraded to a Blu-ray. So maybe I don't know. Maybe it's further down the schedule, because
hopefully,
fingers crossed, because they'd be a beautiful film to have, and just the colors are incredible. It's one of those just mind-blowing Technicolor films.
Yeah, undoubtedly would sell well too. I mean, with his name attached to it. Come on. All right, so I've got a couple obvious choices and one that's a little more under the radar. So I'll flash up the obvious choices as part of the honorable mentions after. So the under the radar one, this is another release from Second Sight. This is a very modern movie again, kind of like Tangerine that I was talking about. In fact, it's even later than Tangerine. I think it's a 2017 film. I'm having trouble finding the year, so I'll just say that and probably be wrong. Please correct me in the chat. But this is unlike anything else that we've talked about tonight. So I wanted to shine a light on this one because so few have seen this yet. It is the incredibly unique, very funny, the amazing Anna and the Apocalypse. This is a modern zombie horror comedy musical. That is a lot of adjectives, and yet they're all accurate. This is such a well-made, fun movie. The songs in this are actually good. I know a lot of people get scared at the word musical. It is actually good. Like, the songs are funny. They're well performed. They work. There's actual singing and dancing done in a reverential way. It is really great. I will say the second sight limited edition, which is long, like difficult to find now, had a booklet on the inside with lyrics to all of the songs, which is really great. The release here also has, I believe, maybe not. So it's a Blu-ray disc, and it is completely region free. So if you're after this one, you can check this out. It's got 2 discs. It's got a theatrical cut and the extended cut. This movie is genuinely funny. Very, very Christmas themed, as you can see. Like, there's no doubt that everything about this is Christmas. There is the small town at Christmas where these zombies are attacking them. It is funny. It is not really scary, but there's a lot of actual horror elements. The makeup is very good in this. Like, it's actual gore makeup. And again, like, hardly anybody has seen this. I think it was on Shudder before. Not sure if it still is. See Anna the Apocalypse because you will fall in love with the music. It is so good.
That's a fun one. That came out right at the time at the end of my time in New York, and I remember going to see it. So it was one of the ones that played down in the Village, which is cool.
I would love to see that in a theater. I never got a chance for that one.
Do we want to go just rapid fire through the last
shoot
ones?
off as many
Because
as you
I'm
want.
excited to see if you've still got some in your stack there. Some of these are less obvious. One, I didn't want to double dip on a label, but Canadian National, another Tales for All was the dog who stopped the war. It's just about a giant snowball fight during Christmas time. It's, if you read Calvin and Hobbes, there are those beautiful strips where it's just Calvin and Hobbes like playing in the snow, and it just this wonderfully winter landscape. This movie feels like one of those Sunday strips come to life, because it's just kids getting this like incredibly like increasingly like heated snowball fight, and just a fun film. Another little Christmas banger from Canadian International. It was like a lot of their movies contain like some sort of a snowmobile chase, or there's a lot of snowy movies that they've done.
It's hard not to when you're in Canada.
Yeah.
My next one, really obvious pick, was Rare Exports. Oscilloscope put this out. Great movie. It is a like new Christmas classic. Most people have seen this one. Genuinely creepy, actually, in quite a lot of scenes. Like, pretty good Christmas horror. Check it out. It's still in print. You can get that at Amazon for like $12. It's a really great movie. Get the Blu-ray. It's so worth it.
Here's my very obvious pick, but also shameless self-promotion, but Invasion USA on 4K, Chuck Norris saving the United States from an international band of terrorists led by Richard Lynch at Christmas time. It is a very fun movie, and one that I was proud to be involved with in many, many ways. It's just a great set that they put together.
I will match your Vinegar Syndrome theme at the moment and shout out Christmas Evil, which I think is my favorite of the killer Santa Claus movies. Not a big fan of like Silent Night, Deadly Night, but this one is like actually, I don't really want to say sleazy, because it's not like, I don't know, it's not like an erotic thriller, but it does feel like grimy, I guess is a better word choice. Like it actually feels kind of dangerous to watch. Like it's like a home video type of movie. The acting in this is surprisingly good. This is a genuinely creepy movie, and it's basically just a guy that's fed up, and it's creepy as shit. Christmas Evil is so much better than all the other killer Santa Claus movies. I think it's better acted. The story's better. It's believable, which most of those other ones are a complete farce, of course. This one is very good. Check out Christmas Evil.
That one of my favorite recent movie-going experience was a double feature. I've got the poster up here, but it was of Christmas Evil and New Year's Evil down at the the Strand in Seymour, Connecticut. And it happened to be like as there was like a snowstorm going on outside. So there's a bunch of people in a crowded theater watching those two movies together, and not sure if they're going to be able to get their cars out from where they were parked afterwards. So that's a great pick. This one I'm going to hold up a very old copy because it's part of a box set. But Shout Factory has the Pee-wee's Playhouse Blu-ray set, which you have to get now. But one of my favorite all-time holiday specials is the Pee-wee's Playhouse holiday special. This is not their release. This is the standalone DVD release because I can't have enough copies of this in my house. But yeah, it's just a fun Christmas at Pee-wee's Playhouse. He gets visited by Grace Jones and Katie Lang, and it's got so many celebrities. Magic Johnson, he gets to ride on Magic Screen with Magic Johnson. It's not Christmas in my house until Grace Jones has serenaded Pee Wee Herman with The Little Drummer Boy. So that's just a staple.
I think the next one I'm going to talk about could not be more different than Pee-wee's Christmas special. So the other one that was dark that I was going to talk about, Second Sight's release of Inside, the new French extremity film about a woman who is pregnant, and not just pregnant, but like literally about to give birth, like in the next 24 hours. She is at her home, and something happens, and a woman shows up and starts to attack her, literally to try to snatch her baby out of her body. It is a bloody freaking movie. It's got let's see, what do I not want to spoil here? It's got a scene that you will feel so betrayed in watching that hits harder than almost any other emotional moments. I think it's one of the better of the new French extremity films. It is also like the most contained of the new French extremity films. A lot of those films started from like deep political contempt, and this one is more like isolation fear. And it's literally one person unable to escape. One person is after them, and they have no way of saving themselves. And it is terrifying, bloody beyond belief, and it's a hard watch. So right after Morvern Kalar, yeah, probably not the best one to talk about, but it is a really solid watch, and it literally happens on Christmas Eve. Like, it is the definition of an off the beaten path Christmas film. So worth it. Inside is amazing.
My last one here is an incredibly obvious. So like, we're going offbeat. This is not offbeat at all. This is like one of the top 3 movies that people will watch at Christmas, but it's one that I would say is one of my favorite 4K upgrades in my collection. Unexpectedly. It's one that I also think a lot of people might think that, like, why would I get that on 4K? My whatever edition, wherever I have this, I probably have 5 other copies of this. It's okay, but you want the 4K of this. And it's I have it as part of the set. It's also available solo, but it's the Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer.
Yeah.
On 4K, what they've done with this is you can see the texture of the puppets. And if it's a movie, like if that's something that you grew up, I think most of us, if we partake in holiday specials, we saw this every year as a kid. Like, I remember being distraught one year when our elementary school chorus concert was on the same night that Rudolph was on. And that was like, if you missed a Christmas special back in the days, you did not see it until the following year. I remember the whole school was miserable because everybody was just, we're missing Rudolph because we have to go sing for our parents, everybody. Right. But this is just like that. It's the most textile, like, feel. Like, you can touch the puppets. You can see like where the glue is falling apart on them. It is just a movie. Again, it's like, it's a 60-some-year-old, puppet film. That's not the first thing I would have ever thought I would just love so much on 4K, but this is one that, like, out of all the upgrades, all these amazing things, I'm like excited to watch Barry Lyndon, which I talked about. I just bought it in the sale. And I'm like, I know that's going to be a movie that's just one of the most gorgeous movies ever made. And like, I'm excited to see it on 4K, but I don't know if like The Jump will impress me anywhere near as much as Rudolph did. And it's just amazing because it's a movie that is just, I know so well from my earliest days of watching, terrible TV broadcasts of it. And just to be able to like see and feel and like touch and see how soft and textured and see like Santa's beard peeling in like certain scenes. And you can appreciate stuff. You can appreciate how handmade this movie is, which is awesome. So not obscure at all, but 4K,
to harp on like the visual quality of the physical media on it is important. So I like that. The Rankin and Bass stuff is just stupendous. Great pick. This has been fun. Like lots of really solid recommendations, top-notch choices, and literally no overlap. The stuff that we pulled, no overlap between us, which is
Amazing.
awesome.
Yeah. Wow. This was yeah. This went even better than I could have imagined. This is so fun.
Well, exclusively right now, when is part 3 of the book series coming out, Austin? I'm sure you want to
Oh,
announce that.
it'll come out when it comes out. I wish I could
I'm
answer
kidding.
that. No, it's yeah, like I said, it's tougher with the research in it, and it's going a little slower just because my children aren't like in a larval phase still. I wrote a lot of the first one while at least one of my children was, could roll places or bellies like crawl places at best. This one now I'm like taking them to after school stuff all the time, but that's nice. It's what's nice about the physical media work that I've gotten as well. Those checks have gone to like each essay has paid for like summer camps and things like that. So it's
Nice.
like, so I don't feel as bad about doing the Blu-ray essays that it's taking away from the books. It's allowing me to also like, if I work on that, I can take a full week to just dedicate to that. So it's coming along, and I'm very excited with how it's going. I don't have a date yet. There's still a ways. So please bear with me.
Obviously, I was kidding. I cannot wait to see it. I hope people support it when it comes out.
Thank you.
Chris on Facebook is saying, I excited him when I said Rare Exports was $12 on Amazon, but it's $21 right now. Just a heads up, when it's Christmas time, the demand for that title goes through the roof, so they raise the price a little bit. If you wait just a little bit, it'll come back down. I promise. It can be a cheaper title for sure. Gary says, speaking of Canon, I watched Barfly again for the first time in decades. Holds up. The imprint release of Barfly is really good.
So good. That's one that I was thrilled with, because that's also another one that it went from the Snapcase DVD, which was very expensive for a long time, to that. And it's amazing to go from something that's like bare bones and barely plays anymore to just beautiful release.
Solid 2-disc release with 4 hours of extras.
Incredible people working on it. Yeah, that's and a fantastic film. It's one of the arguably best Canon movies.
It's quite good. That thing came out, and that was the first time I'd ever seen that movie. And watching it then, I could imagine when I was younger, I probably would not have felt the same. But seeing it at this age, that movie hits hard, especially somebody whose father was a raging alcoholic. Oh, Bukowski. I think a lot of people need to watch Barfly that haven't.
And Bukowski wrote a book that's a thinly veiled novel about the making of Barfly, which is very entertaining because the names are all just like a few names changed, and like canon in it is Firepower, and it's not Golden Globus. It's very similar names, but it's funny. He does not hide his contempt for everyone he worked with on that film, and he doesn't even bother to like change more than a few letters in their name.
Well, I think that's all we got. Anything that you want to promote coming out or coming up, or recent releases like Mac and Me, perhaps?
Sure. Yeah. Some of the stuff I've been, I got to work on some great releases this year that I was really excited about. Mac and Me allowed me to deep dive into really the history of like product placement in films. I read a lot of books about that and went into this. And this movie, I watched the McDonald's dance number in this one, the song "We're Wrong." McDonald's actually like involved in it. Like some people have gone through the Zapruder film, like frame by frame, over and over, meticulously. Like, it was, again, like it's a film that I watched many times as a kid. I saw it with my kids actually at the Mahoning Drive-In when they had the Mystery Science Theater event. We saw that version, so it was funny because they had reached out about working on this like right after I had come back from seeing it at the drive-in.
Nice.
It was so much fun. And so that's the one that I was excited about, because I did see it as a kid. I did not realize the movie is as bad as it is. It's incredibly enjoyable. But no, the other one is, we talked about Garbage Pail Kids, which was a movie that one of the early movies that I actually realized was like bad. as a young child, I was like, oh my gosh, like what is this is a hard watch, but it's fun, and it's got some great effects. And for this one, I really got to go into. I focused on the performers inside the costumes. This was throughout Hollywood history, little people, actors who are little people, have had some very thankless jobs, and a lot of the people who worked on this movie they were Ewoks, they were in Blade Runner, they were in all these incredible films, and they're names that you don't really know because there are only so many famous little people actors, and there's just like unsung heroes of some of the best genre of movies of the era. And so I really enjoyed getting to go into their careers and lives and where they came from, how they wound up in Hollywood, how they ended up working in movies, and it's one that I'm very proud of. The other one was Just a Long Dream. This was my last release from this year, but I was a Trauma fan, coming like from Canon, but Sergeant Kabukiman NYPD, and I was very grateful because the angle they let me take was going through all of the. Cause this is the Lloyd Kaufman's like superhero movie, one of the two with Toxic Avenger, and he had, and people know, but he was a lifelong friend of Stan Lee, and they worked on so many scripts together. So I broke down some of the projects, all the unmade projects that Lloyd Kaufman worked on with Stan Lee over the years, which was in the 60s, back when, Marvel was the Marvel that we know today is this big, huge thing, through like the dark times, like the early 90s, when it's just a fascinating, some really crazy projects that are something you wouldn't. They worked together on a script called The Man Who Talked to God, which was about faith and things like that. And you never imagine Lloyd Kaufman and Stan Lee working on a script about faith together. Those aren't the two names, but it was a fun project, and just going through a lot of archives and finding out information about these. And funny enough, some of these projects were pitched to the pre-Golden Globus canon, the Dewey Friedman years, which is awesome, where Lloyd got his start working in the New York City film business. So again, these are I've loved the opportunity getting to do some of these deep dives into areas that I haven't had the opportunity. It's different from the Canon stuff. It's not. It's similar. It's adjacent, but it's something different, and it's been wonderful too, because the work like this does help pay for like summer camps and things like that give me time to do the work on the books.
Excellent. Yeah, everybody needs to check those out, and the books especially. Like if you like any 80s cinema, which I'm sure if you're watching this you do, these are imperative to at least be able to browse through and glean any sort of information from, because they are legendary. The amount of films that are covered by Canon is kind of shocking if you don't know the deep dive behind Canon. Check it out. Check out both of the books, and I can't wait for the third. Austin, thanks so much for doing this tonight.
Oh, thank you so much. This is so much fun, and thank you so much for the invitation. I'm honored to be here.
Incredible. So glad you were here. Hopefully we can do it again. Everybody come back next week. Erica from Unsung Horrors will be our guest next Thursday. And until then, stay safe. We'll see you next week. Thank you for watching The Disconnected. On the way out, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, that you've liked the video, and that you've copied the link to be able to share it with someone else that may appreciate this.